welcome to the Foul Play YouTube channel.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to Open Mic number 85. Hope everyone's doing okay today. Today is a kind of a special day for many of us that live in I guess really around the world, because this was a worldwide shot. Today marks 21 years since 9/11, and I would be remiss in my thoughts because of it's such an impact, for me. At the time, I was working. I was a supervisor, and I worked second shift, and I remember it well. Coming in, and actually we were working a ton of overtime, but I actually got out at I only worked 10 hours that day, I think, or maybe 11. I remember getting off around 1 a.m. Fortunately, I lived a few miles from the plant, and I got home and did this and that, went to bed. And my wife woke me up the next morning. She said, "Something's going on. You got to get up." And remember seeing all the I just call it pure hell. I'm going to throw this up here on the screen. Give me just a second. Yeah, there it is. This photo here, for a lot of us, it is a reminder of some really horrific times, and it's scary for a lot of people. You can talk to 10 people, and chances are you may know someone, or you may run into someone that had some kind of connection to this in one way or another. Someone that passed away, a family member, a friend of a friend. There are so many lost, and I just felt strongly that we should pay a small tribute to those lives lost. I'm not trying to get into anything political. The event happened, and we lost a lot of really wonderful people, and I just felt the need to say it. Anyone have any words? They're welcome to talk about for just a moment before we move on to our main stuff tonight.
Yeah, I would just like to send my condolences, my thoughts to everyone in America, because I know that 9/11 affected an awful lot of people, from just the average public to the emergency services, people who lived around that area. Devastated them. I remember watching it on my TV, and my heart sank the minute that tower fell. It was distressful seeing the bodies, people jumping rather than staying to get burned and things like that. So my heartfelt sympathies are with every one of yous on this day, and I can't believe that it's the 21st anniversary at all. Yous have shown sympathies and everything for us in the United Kingdom with what's happened here. So I would just like to reciprocate that, and I'm thinking about every single one of yous on this day and every year after it. So
Thank you, Alice. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Oh, and by the way, there was an attack in '93 as well on the World Trade Center, and it's less talked about, but we have to remember that EDPA, however you want to pronounce it, the the terrorism act that was passed, it's one of the worst pieces of legislation known to man, got passed, but it has its roots in the '93 attack.
EDPA. Was that in the '93 attack or after the Oklahoma City bombing?
Well, that's in there too, but no, it was afterwards.
The culmination of
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it is the worst piece of legislation for sure.
It's terrible. It really is. It so limits the federal government and their ability to correct right or wrong in a state court. So anyway, let's see. We have in JT65 joined us in chat here. Thank you for coming into Discord and listening in. Anyway, so all right, let's move on here. So introducing the panel, we have Alice. How you doing today, Alice? Did we lose Alice?
Jack.
Oh, there's.
Yeah, doing okay. Her Majesty got brought home to Edinburgh today. She was driven 175 miles from Aberdeen at Balmoral down to Holyrood Palace. She's resting there tonight, and then tomorrow at just after 2:30 my time, there's going to be a procession, and Prince Charles and the rest of the family are going to walk her up to St Giles Cathedral, and she's going to lie there in state until Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, and then she's going to be put on a plane, flown to England, and then she's going to be at the palace and at Westminster, and she's going to lie in state for 4 days there, and then the funeral is going to be on Monday the 19th. So it's all coming together. It's a bit somber, a bit surreal. Seeing her coming home to us today kind of made it more, oh my God, it really is happened,
Yeah.
70
years.
I was thinking about, yeah, definitely, Jack. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe trying to get uptown, but I seen it today, and there is no way you couldn't get moving for the amount of people that lined the Royal Mile and everything like that. So she got a good turnout, and tomorrow it'll probably be even worse. So I'm just going to stay home and pay my respects and watch it on TV tomorrow. So so yeah, a bit of a somber day for us today. Definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine 70 years of rule, and I dare say, I said it the other day, I dare say very few people in the world can do what she did for that length of time and not literally fall on their face. It makes some really, well, anyway, she did well.
Yeah. But I mean, that's it, Jack. I mean, we'll never see another queen for us again in my lifetime anyway, because Charles is now, then it falls to William, and then after William it falls to his son George, and then it would be Charlotte, but I don't see any way that George or that would give up the throne either. So it's going to be a long time before we even have a queen again. So it's going to be king from now on, no matter who's going to be sitting on the throne, So
right.
She did brilliant for our country, definitely. Everybody in the world knows who Queen Elizabeth was, It doesn't matter whether you're a royalist or not. Everybody knows who Queen Elizabeth was, because she was the global figure for the United Kingdom, So.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Alice. Cherie, you can talk if you want or not, but just wanted to ask how you're doing.
I'm doing pretty well. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I just came home today, but I'm really feeling much better, so I'm happy.
I bet. We're glad that we're glad you're at home. I'm sure you are too. So.
Yeah.
I just only told everybody, like, publicly yesterday during near the end of the Reading with the Crew show, so I was trying not to spill your business all over the internet.
Yeah. And NJ, you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have you don't have to speak if you don't want to. We're glad you're here. You're welcome to talk if you wish. But anyway, NJT is here with us in Discord. But like I said, with anybody else, if they want to come in and just sit and listen, that's fine. It's not an issue. Okay. Rhonda, did you have anything else to add? I'm sorry.
No, not really. No. I have a job. I have like a real job where I'll be, I know, right? Now I can start paying people back. Well, sometime I'll be able to start paying people back money I owe them. Wink, winks. But I'll be working for the school district, so it'll be Monday through Friday with all the holidays off that the kids have off. So it'll be fun.
Nice.
I'll have less time to spend on my cases, though. So.
Hey, listen, they need to be part of the job description. You know, you got shit to do. You know, we got cases to solve.
I know. I know. I agree. But you know, first I just got to get my feet in the door, and then I'll drop that on them.
Absolutely. With that said, please, everyone that's listening, go check out Rhonda's channel. I'm plugging you. Yeah, you gotta wait. I'm plugging you.
You are plugging me.
If Alice or one of you or one of you would drop a link to Rhonda's channel or YouTube channel and her Discord channel, get some invites up there. Go support her. She's doing such wonderful work on Daniel Hopesfall's case. It's another wrongful conviction. It is a horrible case full of corruption, and I don't know what all words I could use a bunch of verbs to describe this one. I'm telling you, it's horrible what they did to that guy, and continue to do. So
yeah, and it's like 13 cases in one trial because there's 13 accusers, so it's really difficult to try to power through all of the different stories and lies. So, but yeah, anyway, thanks, Jack. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm hopeful that someone will pick up and do a docuseries on it, because they could easily make a 20-part docuseries easily, and still not be done. It's so bad. Anyway, wanted to go check Rhonda out.
And I don't do it by myself either. Just thanks.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's more than just.
I don't do it by myself.
No, it's more than just Rhonda. Kay helps.
Always drops in and helps out on the panel, and Cherie, of course, and Alice, and yeah.
Yeah, I come in for moral support, and I'm not really.
You guys, I appreciate that.
You bet. Well, I'm going to keep doing it.
He does, though, but Jack asks questions that, asking questions helps to get more information out as well, because I can't think of everything. We can't think of everything to share, and so when people are asking questions or making comments, that's really helpful for us on the panel as well. So
absolutely,
bring it on. Come on in. Bring your dinner with you. Okay, I'm done talking about me. Thank you so much.
You bet. Want to say hello to a brother of yours, and he's in live chat doing the mod duty. I doubt that he's drinking a beer or anything. He wouldn't do that. Well, maybe he is. And there's
he my favorite. Be. I think he's on vacation, isn't he?
I think so. And my favorite neighbor, TT and Fangirl. Hello, thanks for coming. There's Susan. Woohoo! And the lovely Dark Side, Dr. Silkman. Hey, Doc, you can drop in anytime you want. Who else we got here? We got Rhonda SD, Clive Coolidge. Thanks for coming. Cherie Pontillo. I promise we're going to get started here just momentarily. I didn't want to be rude to the live chat. And so we got Jennifer Manning. Hello, Jennifer. I'm scrolling, guys. There's Ronald Cass. I'm sorry. Hey, Ronald. How you doing? Yep. Case 10. Thanks for coming. And Galataki. Yeah. All mods. watch Gala closely. He's tough. Colette.
Andy.
Yep. Andy B. Colette. Pete Moss.
Nosy was in earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but Nosy was there as well. Hi, Nosy.
That's my internet wife, so hi, Nosy. You can smack me later. There's Cher. Thanks for coming. And I think that's all. If I've missed anyone, I apologize. But welcome to the chat. So let's get rolling here. And our subject today is Sgt Senglaub of the Manitowoc Sheriff's Office. And the reason this is a subject at all is because, of course, the tip that got called in by Tom Sawinski on November 6th at 10:22 or 10:28. I'm going to play the call here in a minute, and we'll see the date. This tip that Sawinski...
Jack, real quick. Angie, we missed Angie Dickinson. We are so sorry. And Bethany just popped in as well.
Yeah, I just saw...
we're sorry about that.
I'm sorry, Angie. I did not see her name. I apologize. Welcome to the chat. And you too, Bethany. Thanks for coming. So sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so Sawinski... Yeah, I got Pete Moss. Anyway, yeah. So this call is that Sawinski made. This DVD was buried for 17 years. No one had it, and Zellner. After this affidavit got filed, we're all screaming and crying. We need a phone record. We need something. Boom, and we finally get it. And this call was answered by dispatch and clearly forwarded by the dispatcher to Sgt Senglaub. He was the ship commander that day. So let me pull that up. We're going to play that first. It's only a minute. And anyone here in YouTube, you're going to have to unmute. Give me just 1 second here, guys. I apologize. I've only got one screen to work with. There it is. Okay. All right, I'm going to play this here. It's about a minute long. Here we go.
Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, this is Carla. Can I help you?
Carla, I don't know if it's good information, bad information. Who do I talk to about this, the girl that's missing from Hilbert?
I can have you speak with my shift commander. Can you hold on a moment?
Thank you.
Sure. Hang on, I'm going to transfer to the shift commander. You'll be speaking with Sgt Senglaub, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Scott, when I hang up, it's a man on the phone who thinks he has some maybe more leads, and he wanted to speak with somebody on the case.
All right, guys.
Okay. So stemming from that, you could clearly tell when she forwarded that call, 7 digits. I still haven't got that app. And actually, Ripper told me there was actually a number of apps. I haven't run it down to try to find out what that number was that she dialed. I should try to do that. But nonetheless, so from that, stemmed curiosity about this officer at MTS. So I wanted to know more. So I sent off for some open records request. One of the requests was an email search or any correspondence for certain keywords. And I'm going to put those keywords up on the screen. And, this was just part of, trying to do research. Give me just 1 second here. I'll apologize. trying to do research on to find out if there was more that we could potentially get. So I want to show you what I came up with here. Because the sergeant, he emailed me, or I'm sorry, Lieutenant Cummings emailed me back about, he has to turn this in for the email search. He has to turn this in over to the IT department, and they go in and they do a search. They have the capability of searching specific people's emails for certain search terms. So let me get this on the screen. So this is part of an email message. Yeah, there we go. Let me blow that up just a little bit more. As you can see, the one of the first things I wrote that I wanted all reports between a certain date range, 11/3 and 11/12, which was basically the investigation when they had the Avery salvage yard under siege. Second thing you can see, there's the emails. He had questioned me about both these, and I'm replying to him. So you can see the search terms that I used, that I wanted them to use: Avery, Halbach, Sawinski, tip, bones, photos, RAV4 search, cuss, Avery auto salvage, burn barrel, burial, white cedar. Now, white cedar runs parallel to Cuss Road in there, and they sometimes use the white cedar road instead of Cuss Road, but it's right there at Cuss Road. And Corey, Rodant, and Citizen. And then I also, as you can see there, I requested his personnel file. And we're going to get a little bit more into the personnel file, and I want to explain some things about the personnel file and my thoughts on it. I'm going to share a little bit of it with you, but we'll talk about it here in a minute. So there's that. So let's get pulled up here the actual reports. Now, the reports that he wrote for that week, some of them don't have anything to do with the case. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, there are no tips. There are no reports for tips. That's or anything from Sawinski. There's nothing that I got anyway. If they have something, they've kept it to themselves. So let me pull that up. I will make this report here available. I will link it to my OneDrive or something until Zoe can get it added to the library. Here, get this over here. Okay, so as you can see, there are a number of reports. The incident number, it gives the date, and it also lists over here the case number. And so these are the various reports that Senglaub wrote during this week. Like I said, there are 8 reports. Well, actually 9, but 8844 we didn't need. We really already got 8844. And actually, Sherry Lynn Pontello and Darkside had asked about it. I'll link that dispatch text to them. It's available. I'm 99% sure it's in the library. If anybody wants it, I'll go ahead and add it when I address the description and put this file in there. I'll go ahead and add 8844. The incident report, and you can. It's the dispatch version of that. So anyway, so as you can see, this about 28, 29 pages here, I think, and we're going to roll through some of these that really have nothing to do with Avery or Dassey or anything. So, and you'll see that right away. But there are some. There are going to be some names that's going to pop up here toward the end. You're going to say, "Oh, wait a minute here." So this first one was on the occurrence date was 11/11. There's a complaint from Rebecca Sue Brooks. There's a suspect. then we have the report. And now, again, I'm not going to read through this because it has absolutely nothing to do with what we're looking for. It's irrelevant. But I decided, because there wasn't that many reports, I decided to go ahead and get them. The second incident is, as you can see, is 9035, and it occurred on 11/11. And it was a caller. Looks like Christopher. I can't pronounce that name. It starts with a K. And there's a few other things listed there. There's a report taken, handled by officer. This is like a incident. This is the dispatch narrative, as we call it. It's a 1-car rollover, and then as you can see there, it just details it. Talks about Bob's Classic. I guess maybe that's a record service. I'm not. Yeah, Bob's Classic is on scene. So anyway, again, irrelevant. Has nothing to do with what we're looking at. This next one is looks like 9033. The suspect is Eric James Chouette. Rhonda, if I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong or whatever, please correct me.
I was just trying to see where. Okay. Eric James.
Yeah, this one here is another. It's a non-issue for us. It's just I'm not even sure what this one is about. I know it has nothing to do with what we're looking for. They're looking for this guy. Suspect was not located. It was from Bustler, and then a little bit later, the suspect was taken into custody. So they found the guy. This next one is 8975. This caller, Ryan Anhalt. And here's the dispatch narrative. Deer needs to be dispatched. And so apparently there was a deer strike. I see caller claimed the deer and got the tag number. Before I move any further, guys, is there any questions, comments?
I was just going to say, Nan's Life 7 is asking if the red stamp saying not to be disseminated, if that's a new stamp.
No. Well, no, we've seen this before. The thing is, guys, you see these stamps, you get them, if you do your own open records and you get these, once it's out in the public, it's yours to do with as you please. It's an open records. It's been approved. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're not doing anything illegal.
No, absolutely not. We've got these on a number of documents from not only from Manitowoc. I'm sure Calumet. I'm sure we've got documents that've got similar type stamp, and once it's in the public domain, it's public. So, any other questions before I move on?
So they only needed to call for a tag, not go buy one. Probably referring to Bobby.
On that
Bobby getting his tag.
No, I'm guessing that person.
No, that's not. That call's not referring to Bobby, but the question comparing this call for the tag versus what Bobby did for his tag, having to go buy one. You know what I mean? Never mind.
No. I know exactly what you mean. And this person here may have had tags of their own. They may have already been, like I said, when you, for a deer hunting season, you can go apply and you get an X amount of number of tags. That you may be allowed 8 or 10 or whatever the state decides, that department that decides I think it's the DNR, Natural Resources, or something of that nature in Wisconsin. They assign you when you go say, I'm going to go deer hunting, and you get a number of tags. So this person may have already had a tag of their own, and they gave them the tag number. Let's see. Let's look at the time here.
Silkman is saying, Dr. Silkman is saying that one of the documents that we passed mentioned Avery, and then further down the Senex station. I saw the Senex station. I didn't see Avery though.
Um,
So you'd need to go, well, yeah, one question at a time.
yeah, I know the Senex station is mentioned in one of these reports. I think it's
Right
lower.
there.
Is this it?
Oh, it's right there. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, go back. Whoa, where are you going? Where are you going? Jack. Or to the big, oh, are you going to the beginning of the report? Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're going the wrong way now.
Going back up.
There you go.
Okay. I'm not seeing Senex on this.
Oh, it's down in that big written report. Down, other way.
It must be up, because if I go down, it goes to a new report.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Go down. Listen, when a girl tells you to go down, oh God, that was bad. Okay, I'm gonna mute now. Scroll down.
Oh, I see it now. I got it. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. I remember seeing it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. There was, I remember seeing this, but I don't think this has anything specific. This is on the 10th. 2250 hours, Lieutenant K.
There.
Yeah. Lieutenant K. Bustler overheard transmission on the NTPD, that's the city police frequency, that an officer. So there you go. That tells you that these guys listen to each other. So anyway, that an officer needed assistance in Rapids by the Senex station. Further information was provided that a NTPD officer was stabbed and a male suspect bled on foot. Informed dispatch that I was en route. I requested additional MTSO units respond to the area for contact. Deputy Cummings, he used to be a deputy, but now he's the records custodian. He's been promoted. He took over for Larry. Was en route with a K9 partner. Deputy Siders was instructed to stop by the MTSO to pick up 2 long rifles, including Sgt Senglaub's, and report to the Rapids area. At my request, Sgt Senglaub was contacted. He stated he would respond to the area and that he would obtain his SOS gear from Deputy Siders. A parameter was established in the assistance of Deputy Zimmer, Deputy Herman, and Wisconsin State Trooper number 318. Sergeant Joss was also requested to respond from the Avery property. KSO officer replaced Sergeant Joss prior to him leaving his security post. In addition, TRPD officer Colmeyer was requested. Deputy Beck, Deputy Glazer, and Lieutenant T. Herman responded to the MTSO to resume.
Herman.
Yep, to resume patrol duty. MTPD officers provided additional information on the possible suspect. Officers were in the process of reviewing the video footage at the Senex station, where the suspect was believed to have been just prior to the incident. I wonder if they had video footage in 2005, 2006. Eagle 3. If anyone doesn't know what Eagle 3 is, they were part of the Great Lakes Search and Rescue that were on scene at the Avery salvage yard and that whole area, the quarry. They did surveillance for Manitowoc and the whole thing. They were involved. Eagle 3 helicopter arrived on the scene and searched the wooded area while officers remained on containment. Officers spoke with 2 subjects who lived in the immediate area that were later cleared. A final sweep of the area was performed by SOS officers, but the suspect was not located. I requested a current photo to be forwarded to the MTSO as soon as it was removed from the Cenex tape. Officers from the MTSO left the scene as MTPD was still investigating the incident. The suspect was later identified. As of 11:11 at 2000 hours, that's 8 o'clock, the suspect was not located. That's from Bessler. 11:12 the next day, see incident report 9085, the suspect was taken into custody. So there you go. So there were people that were called from the Avery, salvage yard, or on whatever security duty or whatever, to come help find this guy. And then apparently they left the scene and went back to their, whatever their assignment was. I find it interesting that Eagle 3 was requested. I'm sure they were requested because they wouldn't have just shown up. I'm sure somebody said, hey, come help us out here. And it also makes me wonder if they had FLIR, installed on that helicopter as well. Because this was at evening. This would have been dark. And in Wisconsin that time of year, it would have been dark. I promise you that. So anyway.
So is there footage from the Cenex station then, like security footage? Or,
well,
you know what I mean?
There's none that's listed there. That doesn't.
Reviewing footage.
Yeah, there's none listed there, but that'd be something that can. No, it's a good question. No, it may be something that can be requested. Right?
Yeah, I think we should request it.
I will.
I know you will.
I've got so many open records requests out there. Like I've got 4. I've got 4 at the DOJ. I've got 1 at Calumet, and I've got. I think I've only got 1. Yeah, I've only got 1 at MTSO right now. So anyway, while I'm thinking of that, I want to give a big shout out to a really generous person that donated directly to Foul Play today. Randy, I can't thank you enough. We all thank you deeply for what you did. She donated a significant amount to us for getting these records and so forth. It means the world to us. I'm telling you, we don't ask for money. We don't ask for donations. So there was some conversations that happened yesterday and several, YouTube charge it. If you hit the thanks button on this live and donate, that's fine, and we appreciate it. But as we've told everyone, YouTube takes 30% of that. Right off the top. So, and then we do get ad money, but they also take a cut of that. And every little bit helps, but nonetheless, the YouTube's going to get their cut. It's not. You think about this now. I'm going to tell you another thing. Now we don't qualify because we don't have enough members or subs yet. But for those groups, entities out there that have super chat, YouTube takes 40%. So if you give $100 to someone in super chat, YouTube's taking $40 of that. And when I first heard that, I was like, "What the F-bomb?" Yeah, seriously. Anyway, much thanks,
That's just
Randy.
not something we really want to do.
No, it's not. We're maybe we'll have a discussion as a group for people that want to donate directly and help out pay for this stuff. Every little bit helps. These 2 records that I got, they were about $30. It's not that much. There are others that that were significantly more than that. It just depends on what we are trying to get. But we understand. This stuff costs money, and but again, we're just not. We're not in it for the money. That's not what we're about at all. Ever. I cringe at that. I cringe at. This is my personal. I'm not attacking anyone. Please, no one. Please don't take offense. But I cringe at anyone out there that's just doing it for the money, because it really grinds my gears. Okay.
Yeah, but Brandy says, no need to thank me. I appreciate all that everyone at Foul Play does for this case. Thank you, Brandy. That's very thoughtful. And Carol says, I would rather donate directly. So,
Yeah, I told Carol.
It's something that we're going to have to discuss.
I talked to Carol last night and a couple more. Just contact Zoe directly. Because Zoe's the one that really handles. She's really the treasurer for us, and like when I get a FOIA, I just pay for it, and then she just pays me back out of our fund. It's set aside separately. She keeps that separate. So, go ahead.
No. That's it. That's all there is. Carol just says she'd rather donate directly. Brandy says, yes, I wanted to donate directly as well, but all the money goes to you guys. So
much appreciated.
As Jack says, do it through Zoe, even doing it that way, and it's all very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Very much.
It is. Maybe something can be, set up that, we'll put something up, a link on YouTube for direct donation instead of going through YouTube. I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, I don't have a problem supporting YouTube, but, the thing is that if we do nothing, anyone that watches, the replay or whatever, we turn off ads for the live because we had a huge problem with that. Ads would come on, boom, we'd lose, 40 people would be gone because they're not going to sit there and watch a bunch of ads. So we turn live ads off for the lives, and I turn them back on after the live is complete. So on playback, they're still making money. They get their cut. So anyway, let's move on. This is 8978. We looked at this one, Ryan Anhalt. And this is the one about the deer strike, and he had a tag. Either had a tag or he went and got one pretty quick. I'm guessing he had one because it was a pretty quick turnaround. This next one is 8975 incident or case number. It's what we got here. Yeah, this is the DWI or DUI, however you pronounce it in your state, driving while intoxicated or whatever. And it details, I think, Sgt Senglaub. Let's see. Yeah, I think it details Senglaub's noticing this car and watching them, drive badly. You can see here. You can read it, but when I get this posted, you guys can read it if you want. This is irrelevant to the Avery case, Dassey case. Pretty long report, though. Consider. This next one is 8970 incident 8973, and this is a caller. The narrative. This is on 11/8 at it's like 10:02 at night. Sound like someone on her deck at the back of the house. Cannot hear voices. Female caller is there with 3 kids. Is scared someone is on her wooden deck. Did not see or hear a car. Almost sound like a patio door is being pulled. All of her doors are locked at this time. No outside lights are on at this time. Does not have a hall lot on inside. It's a 1-story house. Can still hear something outside, but does not hear voices. It sounds like someone is trying to get in the patio door. Complaint doesn't hear anything anymore. Complaint will meet officer at front door after they have checked the outside area. Still on the line. And apparently it was a weather-related issue, so that ended at 10:25, so a 23-minute incident. This next one is 8892. And this one is interesting. This is about Siegfried Berg and Eva Berg. Ring any bells, anyone?
What now?
Siegfried and Eva Berg. Yeah, the German.
Oh, yeah.
I bet Sherry Pontillo's radar went off. I bet Darkside's did too.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go back
I
up.
should see antennas all over the place.
This happened on 11/6 at 3 a.m. It looks like. Yep, 3 a.m. All right. Well, let's read through some of them. Yeah, this is a 3-page report, so we're gonna read through this because, as much as we don't want to go out there and way off speculation land. There are people that have and even potentially hold Siegfried responsible for the incident with Teresa. We don't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
But I can't say that we have every report on Siegfried and know everything that potentially that the MTSO do. I can't say that for sure. We've got a lot of information, a lot of reports on Siegfried that, they're just, he's mentioned in Griesbach's book. And, I'm not going to say why he did it because I don't, why he put it in there because I really don't know for sure. I just know that he did. So it became an issue. So let's read through it here and see what this is. I'm going to blow this. I'm going to try to blow this up here a little bit bigger. I'm doing it for me, not for you.
Did you want some help reading it, Jack, or you got it?
I got it. I may let you read some of it. This is like a 3-page. Yeah, I'll let you know, but I've got it now. Okay, let's start off here. This is 11/6, November 6th of 2005 at 4:09 hours. Deputy Novak was dispatched to meet with Eva Berg at the Maribel Express reference a DVO, that's domestic violence, involving her and her husband that occurred at her residence of 9414 Cord Z at Maribel. Eva advised dispatch that she was struck by her husband, who was presumably still at the residence in Maribel. 4:45. I met with Eva while Sergeant Orth monitored activity at the Berg residence. Eva began by describing her husband, Siegfried Berg, the German national, indicating he is in this country illegally. Eva indicated that she and Siegfried married in 1999 and resided in the state of Pennsylvania. Eva stated that Siegfried was abusive from the beginning, and in August, a DVO resulted in Siegfried being deported back to Germany. Eva indicated that she had very little contact with Siegfried after his deportation until approximately February 2005, when she discovered that Siegfried was back in the state of Pennsylvania. Eva stated that she had no contact with Siegfried during that period. In June 2005, Eva moved to Oconto Falls area. That's new one for me. Shortly after arriving in the state of Wisconsin, Siegfried showed up at Eva's residence near Oconto Falls, having been given her address by Eva's ex-husband in Pennsylvania. Eva reported numerous incidents of violence and domestic abuse while residing in Oconto Falls. However, she indicated that none of those incidents were reported to authorities there. In approximately August of 2005, Eva and Siegfried moved to the Bonduel area. Eva indicated the abuse continued. Last week, she began a search for a new residence, which led her ultimately to the property at 9414 Cord Z, Maribel. Rhonda, if you want to take over for a bit.
Eva stated she is in the process of moving from Bonduel to the residence in question in Maribel. She did not believe that Siegfried knew where she was moving to. Eva stated she dropped off a load of belongings at the Maribel residence early this morning, and she returned to the apartment in Bonduel, arriving there at approximately 01:30 hours. Eva discovered at the time that her second vehicle was missing. She suspected that Siegfried took it. Eva loaded up another vehicle full of items and returned to the Maribel residence, arriving there shortly after 0300 hours. She discovered Siegfried at the residence. Eva stated Siegfried was in the residence watching TV. Eva approached him, demanding the key for her vehicle back. She asked him to get out of the residence. Siegfried gave Eva the key to her car. He made a comment that she needed to help him get his green card. Eva stated that she told Siegfried that she was no longer going to help him, at which time he struck her with the back of his right hand on the right side of her head. Eva indicated that she did not require any medical attention and she did not have any visual signs of having been struck. Eva, however, did complain of whiplash symptoms in her neck as a result of being struck by Siegfried. Eva completed a written statement and signed a 023 form. She advised that she would be willing to accompany officers to the residence if need be. Eva was provided with the Manitowoc County Victim Information Form, along with the application for the Crime Victim Compensation Form. She was advised to remain at the Maribel Express while officers responded to the residence. Did you want me to go on?
Yep, keep on. Keep going.
I, Deputy Novak, along with Sergeant Orth, made contact with Siegfried Berg at the Maribel residence. Siegfried allowed officers into the residence, at which time he was immediately advised that he was under arrest for a DVO. He was placed in handcuffs. Siegfried became quite vocal, demanding that he be allowed to search for his passport and that we contact the German consulate reference the situation. Siegfried was allowed to point out several boxes of personal belongings in the residence, which officers did assist him with, searching for his personal paperwork. No paperwork was found, and Siegfried appeared to become more agitated. As officers were escorting Siegfried from the kitchen area of the residence to the living room, intending on taking him to the squad, he braced himself against the door frame and began struggling with the officers. Officers were able to decentralize Siegfried, taking him to the living room floor where we were able to maintain control. Siegfried did calm down slightly, at which time he was escorted out of the residence and placed into the rear of Sergeant Orth's squad. During the struggle with Siegfried, I did sustain 2 cuts on the palm of my right hand, presumably caused by the handcuffs. Siegfried was transported by Sergeant Orth to the MTSO jail and booked in on charges of battery, DVO, violation of State Statute 94191, and resisting an officer, violation State Statute 946411. These violations require Siegfried to post $800 bail. 11/6/05 at 6:35 hours. The DVC was contacted and worker number 147 was made aware of this incident. No other information is available. 11/6/05.
Hold up just a second. Okay. I want to add in a little information, and I will not try to remember the dates, but with Siegfried, Eva reported in one of the reports that we have that there was some clothing with blood on it and some other items that were found, I think, in a barn or some kind of building there at the residence that Siegfried apparently brought in. And of course, it got destroyed, as best I can remember.
Wasn't there also a cherry Pepsi can or something there as well?
Seems like there was. I was going to say that, but I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. It's been too long since I've read that report. But there was just some odd shit going on with this guy. He clearly is not stable at all. Just wanted to add that in. Alice, has there been any questions that you've seen in the chat?
Just that, no, not questions really, just saying that he could be a suspect, or he should have been a suspect at least. Susan's opinion, my opinion, Rhonda SD's opinion. I mean, it is true. He's got more of a history than what Stephen or Brendan ever had. you know, just with that little bit that we've seen. So why he wasn't a main suspect is beyond belief.
Yeah, I think there's also a report that he was at the Avery salvage yard around the 31st of October, or if not on the 31st of October, but I can't confirm that. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean,
Susan says underwear, hatchet, cherry Pepsi.
there you go. Yeah, see, Susan remembers. She's dug into this more than I have.
Yeah.
Continue on 11/6 at. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I remember for some reason when reading that report, there was something about a cherry Pepsi can that just made me go, huh. Kind of I don't know, it was just a weird coincidence.
Well, yeah, you know, that never happens in Manitowoc. Come on, Rob.
Never, I know.
All right, continue on 11/6 at 4:31 hours.
Okay. I, Sergeant Orth, along with Deputy Novak, were dispatched to 9414 Court Z, Maribel, reference a DVO. 11605 at 0445 hours. Deputy Novak met with the victim, Eva Berg, in the parking lot of the Maribel Express Cedar Ridge restaurant. Within a few moments, Deputy Novak requested that I monitor the residence in question. 0450 hours, I started monitoring the residence. Deputy Novak ultimately met with me and informed me that he would be arresting the suspect, Siegfried Berg, for battery. Deputy Novak also informed me that there is a high probability that Siegfried is in the U.S. illegally. 11605 at 0601 hours, officers proceeded to 9414 Court Z in an attempt to meet with Siegfried. A male subject answered the door and verbally identified himself as Sir Siegfried Berg. Siegfried did allow officers into the residence. At 6:02 hours, Deputy Novak immediately informed Siegfried that he was under arrest for battery. Deputy Novak informed Siegfried to place his hands behind his back. Siegfried did place his hands behind his back and allow Deputy Novak to handcuff him without incident. Prior to leaving the residence, Siegfried requested that officers allow him to search for some personal papers in the back bedroom. Officers escorted Siegfried to a back bedroom, at which time he asked officers to search 2 cardboard boxes for some type of immigration papers. I emptied both boxes, however, they only contained clothing. Siegfried started to aggressively kick the clothing around. He then demanded that officers allow him to search other bedrooms for his immigration paperwork. Siegfried started to pull Deputy Novak toward a second bedroom, at which time officers stopped him from entering. Officers informed Siegfried that we would search the area where he believes his paperwork is. Siegfried became verbally aggressive toward officers. He ultimately stated he was not sure where his paperwork is. Deputy Novak escorted Siegfried out of this area, at which time he started to struggle. Deputy Novak was controlling Siegfried's left arm, therefore I took control of Siegfried's right arm. While walking out of the kitchen, Siegfried braced himself up against the door frame. Officers had to physically pull Siegfried from the door frame to get him into the living room area. In the living room, Siegfried aggressively twisted his upper body back and forth while simultaneously attempting to push himself back into the kitchen. Officers did direct Siegfried to the floor, where we held him against the floor until he stopped resisting. Siegfried stated he would stop resisting, therefore we assisted him to his feet and escorted him out to the squads. Siegfried was assisted into the rear of Squad 62 and seatbelted in place. 11605 at 0612 hours. I, Sergeant Orth, started transporting Siegfried to the MTSO jail. It should be noted that Deputy O'Connor followed. While en route, Siegfried asked me if his wife was in the hospital. After I stated that she was not, he stated, quote, "I didn't punch her," end quote. I informed Siegfried that I never accused him of punching anyone, at which time he started to talk rather loudly in German. It should be noted that Eva previously informed Deputy Novak that Siegfried knows more English than he admits to. Once at the jail booking counter, I asked Siegfried if he intends on cooperating with jail staff. Siegfried remained silent. I asked Siegfried the same question on 2 more occasions. However, he once again remained silent. Jail staff ultimately changed Siegfried into a jail uniform and immediately placed him into a holding cell. I completed the hold sheet documenting battery DVO violation of State Statute 940-19-1 and resisting officers violation of State Statute 94-641. I reviewed Siegfried's criminal history and other paperwork provided to me from dispatch. I observed that Siegfried was deported from the U.S. in 2000 for simple assault, terroristic threats, and unlawful restraint. DHS records indicated that Siegfried was legally admitted into the U.S. as a non-immigrant between the dates of 2/4/05 and 8/3/05. The DHS records indicated that Siegfried may be in violation of immigration laws if in the U.S. past 8/3/05. I made phone contact with Special Agent David C. Riley, who is with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Special Agent Riley informed me that his records also indicate that Siegfried's valid status in the U.S. expired August 3rd of 2005. Special Agent Riley stated Siegfried may have requested an extension, however, he does not see any documentation indicating an extension. Special Agent Riley ultimately informed me that he would be placing an immigration detainer on Siegfried. This detainer was faxed to the MTSO. A copy of the immigration detainer was faxed to the jail. They were requested to add the immigration detainer to the hold sheet. After completing with this incident, I met with Deputy Novak. Deputy Novak informed me that he did sustain an injury to his right hand while struggling with Siegfried. I viewed Deputy Novak's right palm and observed 2 small cuts. The handcuffs apparently cut Deputy Novak's hand while Siegfried was struggling. Deputy Novak and I completed an initial report of injured employee, which was ultimately forwarded to Kathy Lease. No further action taken by this officer. See Deputy Novak's addition to this report reference in his involvement, J.J. Orth.
Well, there you go. Then ask a question without going and looking. Wasn't the former girlfriend, fiance or whatever of Sawinski named Novak? Wasn't that her last name?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Donovan Novak.
Devon.
I
wonder if there's any relation between her and this officer.
Get our research team on it. What's going on in chat? Let's see. Calf is gonna want to see this too. Yes. Sherry, go. There's a Novak in the Martinez case too. Oh boy.
Yeah, Martinez is coming up in one of these reports here, so we're getting to it. I've also got, there's also, before we get to it, there's also a mention, I'm pretty sure, of Xander Road in here. And there is a radio transmission I'm going to play. It doesn't mention specifically Xander Road, but they're blocking off. They're blocking off access to Xander Road. And I don't think they're related. I'm going to play it anyway, just because we have it and I've thought about it. But for clarification, it's a different day altogether, but we'll get to it. So anyway, Cap and Sherry and everyone, I'll make this available on Discord, and I'll also add it to the description here in the video as well. So we'll get to that, I promise. Okay, this next one is incident 8886. No, it's case number. I'm sorry. And the incident number is, I don't know where the hell it's at. Well, I don't see it. Nonetheless, this is on 11/5 at 1945 hours, which is 7:45 at night. And this is the Martinez. You can see here, Martinez is listed Andres and Arthur Madden. So let's get to that. I'm going to blow this up again here.
I think the case number was 86, Jack. 86.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to this one. This is 11/5/05. I, Sgt Senglaub, along with Deputy Hornick and Deputy Herman, were requested by MTPD to look for an individual who was wanted on a DVO, another domestic violence reference, several different charges. Received information from Lieutenant Bolt, who is a shift commander at MTPD, that they had received 2 addresses where the subject had been known to hang out in the past. He requested the address to be checked for the subject. Deputies responded to the first address of 931 Ladaran Drive in Mishkat, who made contact with the babysitter of the property. This female subject stated that the owners of the residence, Jessica and Phil, were not at the residence and were not expected to be home until around midnight. I asked if there was anyone else in the residence and who they were with this evening. There we go. She only indicated that there was no one else in the residence except for the kids that she was babysitting. And the 2 subjects would be with another female, another subject, a female by the name of April. She did not know her last name. I contacted MTPD and they requested that a message be left that when the homeowners arrive, that they contact the shift commander so they can continue with the follow-up. Deputies then went to the address of 2632 Sander Road in Mishkat and met with Arthur Madden. Upon arrival, we asked Madden if he knew the subject, Andres Martinez. He stated that he did, and he watched the news earlier and recognized the name. He indicated the subject was not his residence. Madden allowed deputies to search the residence, which we did. The search came up negative. Madden stated that he had not seen Martinez for approximately 3 to 4 months. However, in the past, he had contact with him where he stops out occasionally, but nothing on a consistent or regular basis. Madden was asked if he does have contact with Martinez to contact authorities. He informed us that he would, as he appeared to be very concerned, reference the information he received from the local news. This information was also passed on to MTPD's shift commander. There were no other residences to check. Deputies left the area. Sgt. Senglaub. So with that, that's the end of the last report. So, yeah. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to play this recording. I said I would. So let's go ahead and do that. It's not very long. Give me just 1 second. Let me turn this off.
Lynn is calling bullshit.
I understand. Okay, those here in the Discord, you're going to have to unmute to hear this. Everybody's going to pop in there. This recording is not very long, and as you can see, this was on. Let me get over here. Oop, wrong one. This was on 11/9, a different day, but nonetheless, this is an interesting call because there's, from everything that I can find, I remember, when we got these calls looking for information pertaining while they were blocking this road off, came up empty. But nonetheless, I'm going to play this here. As you can see, it's less than a minute. So let's get to it. Here we go.
Lieutenant time.
Okay, Sandy.
All right, they want us to block off between Fisherville and Old Y on Q. So County Truck Q at Fisherville and at Old Y, I'll need a squad. So you and Sean, I'm setting up there. Eventually, I'm going to try to get some of you guys to relieve you guys, but head over there right away.
Okay, I'm moving along.
Okay, 10:33. Just
Got something or what?
I don't know. They're not saying.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to go.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Again, don't know what that's about. But if you look up Fisherville and YQ, that is Xander Road. Don't know why they did it. No reports, nothing. But it is related.
Said
Well,
right away, he was in a hurry.
Well, yeah, he said non-1033, which means don't put on the light concern. Don't, it's not code, but get on over there.
Yeah.
So, I thought I would include it because I just happen to remember that particular call. There might be another call. I don't know that, but nonetheless. Anyway, that's the end of Sergeant Senglaub's the 8 reports, and I will include the dispatch narrative for 8844 for anyone that hasn't seen it. We've had it for a long time, and you can read through it. It goes back from 11-3 all the way through I think 11-12. As I said, I posted it in Discord. I thought everybody had seen it, but apparently not. I'll link that too. There's some interesting things in there. One of the interesting things in it on 11-3, it shows the alert that went across all patrol cars. Everyone heard it, and specifically, we're talking about Coburn. If he didn't hear it, he didn't have his radio with him, or he had it turned off. I don't know which, but it gave Teresa's name, her date of birth, and clearly the RAV and the license plate number. Where's Jamie at? We need Jamie. Yeah.
Jack, case 10 is asking, is that intersection north of Avery Salvage Yard?
It is. It is north of Avery Salvage Yard. Hey, there's Christabel, 43D. Thanks for coming. Yeah, it is north of Avery Salvage Yard. It's a few miles. It's not real far. You can pull it up on Google Earth or Google Maps, whatever. We've mapped it out. It's not that far. Speaking of maps, I encourage everyone to head over to Foul Play to the interactive map. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was answering out loud. I was answering yours question. Q and Old Y, was it? And I said yes.
Yeah, Fisherville Road. Yes, that's correct. Yours. But anyway, yeah, definitely check out yours' interactive map on Foul Play. He's added stuff to it. It's wonderful. It's simply fantastic. And I'm sure as time goes on, he'll probably add more stuff to it as he gets time for a researcher standpoint. That Airtable is such a wonderful tool for anyone that wants to research the case. So anyway, so we've covered, there were no emails that searched all the search terms. I was really kind of concerned if that was too many, but apparently they can plug in a number of terms, but I've got that PDF. There were nothing came back. We've got hundreds of emails that Ricky got, Chris Sunshine, Christina got, that that so many of them are irrelevant. I'm talking about old emails going back years, but most of them are relevant. But there are some, and I have looked a little bit for various things. I haven't done a direct search for Sergeant Senglaub, but as far as he may have sent email, but if he did, apparently it didn't reference anything that I asked for in my search terms. So And we've covered his reports. Now, the last thing that I asked for was his personnel file. And I want to talk about this for a minute. And because, you know, when you talk about someone in a personal sense, and I don't care if he's a cop or not, it's not, I don't feel it's our role necessarily to dox this person out. I feel strongly that there should be absolutely no contact with this guy. He's just a regular person. You know, maybe he just completely fucked up and didn't write a report on the Sowinski call. That's on him. You know, but you know, that's just the way it is, and we're left with that at this point. We don't have any more information. A personnel file about someone can detail personal information that can be disseminated in the wrong way, and I just won't have it, guys. I just won't. And you know, there may be at this time right now, his personnel file is not going to be released. Now, I may go through, or you know, with help of Zoe or some others, we may go through and make sure personal information gets redacted. If there's any, there are some redactions in it already, but you know, we may release it at some point in a redacted form. But I cringe at the thought of anyone using this information as a personal attack on this former police officer. Just no matter what we think about him not writing a report on a tip coming in, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. So I just wanted to clear that up because we see this, some other things that, happened with Coburn, and I'm not going to debate whether he deserved it or not. He kind of put himself in some shitty situations back then and even up through kind of now, it's a whole other subject. But that's just my personal feeling. I hope everybody understands that I'm not trying to withhold anything from anyone. That's not it at all. But, we have to be careful, guys. These are real people. They have their own lives to live. And this guy's retired. And speaking of that, I'm going to show a little bit of his personnel report. He did retire. So let me get that pulled up. I'm going to ask guys here in the panel with me. Is that clear? I'm not trying to be a dick, but is that understandable?
Yes.
That's perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's against the law. Not only is it disrespectful and whatever else, but it's against the law, I believe, in most states, if not all states. So yeah, no doxing allowed, no matter what, no matter how we feel about a person.
Right.
No. It's just that's just not. It's not how we do things. You know what I mean? We don't do that. If we feel that it's important enough, then we can redact what we need to redact, but put the information out there. But other than that, I wouldn't like to think any members or anything like that would actually do something like that. But in saying that, it's always better to say what we mean, and I think that people that follow us and everything like that completely understand and know that we're as transparent as we can be,
Right. So with that said, again, we're not trying to keep back information from people, but things that are not relevant, that don't really matter. I just personally, I don't see the need of putting it out in the public. I don't want this guy or any other police officer or anyone else, a witness or anyone else. That people have contacted witnesses in this case. That's not what we're about. If somebody wants to talk to us, that's great. The invitation is always there. But to go hound somebody to talk, I'm not doing that. I don't want anything to do with it at all. That's not part of my goal at all. Our goal is to get information, disseminate it the best we can, and wherever that path leads, it leads. So anyway, this letter here, you can see it's dated April 4th, 2022. And this is from Sgt Senglaub. I would like to that all members of the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department for many years of opportunities, it is time to retire from the law enforcement. I cannot thank everyone enough for what this job and the people have done for me. I wish to wish everyone the best of luck. This letter serves as a 2-week notice. I would like my retirement to begin on 4/19/2022. And you can see it's signed by Sgt.
Well, he just retired this year.
Correct. And so this is from the sheriff, which is Dan Hartwig. Dear Scott, I received your notice of resignation as a reserve deputy for the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office with an effective date of April 19th, 2022. Your resignation is accepted. We wish you the best in the future. Sincerely, Daniel Hartwig. So, you know, his personnel file, it's got letters of commendation and so forth in it. But as you can see, part of this has already been redacted, and rightfully so. You know, if there's an address or phone numbers, we don't need that shit out there at all. It's just unnecessary. So anyway, that's that. Get this off. That's pretty much as far as Senglaub. That's pretty much it as far as we've got information right now. Is there more? Maybe. I know that there's in the Manitowoc summary report, there's other officers that mention him specifically and what they did. He was part of search team A that found the clandestine burial site at Cuss Road. I think also the electronics, I think he was part of that as well. I did not pull the summary report up. Everybody's got that. They can see it. And it's all listed there. It's easy to find. You can do a word search. Just hit Control F and type in his name. It'll pull it right up. But it was another officer that wrote the report. As far as what's detailed here in the reports that we did get, he did not write anything specifically that was part of that summary, the official MTSO summary report. So, I guess go ahead.
It's just my mind working overtime, Jack, but he only retired in April this year.
Yep.
Is it early retirement? Is he at the proper age?
Yeah, he is.
Retirement?
Yeah, I think he started in like 82 or 83. I think this personnel file goes back to. Hold on, I'll tell you.
I mean, I know we say that there's no coincidence in this case, but just with what Zellner's put in her report, saying that it's him that Sawinski got in touch with, and then he retires. I mean, I know he's retired before this came out, but has he maybe got wind that this is coming up the tree and he's retired? I mean, it could just be my he'd gone overtime, Jack. I mean, it works that way sometimes, you know.
Well, you know, I get it. We're all a little jaded, and I get that, and that's a possibility. You know, he knew that this had been released, and he's like, you know what, it's time for me to retire. I think he's been around though since the early '80s. I'm looking in his personnel file to see if I can find a date here.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd have retired, like, say, last year or something like that, you know, the cogs in my head wouldn't be ticking as hard as they're ticking, you know. But because it's been this year, and then all of a sudden he's in Kathleen's report that this has happened, could it be that somebody at MTSO has had a word with him and says, look, this could be coming up the pike. Maybe you should take early retirement so that nothing falls back on him. I mean, I don't know. It's just my cog's gone to 10 times a dozen, so.
Well,
it's always possible. You know, it's not like it's unheard of. They've given us enough reason to suspect anything that they do at this point.
Exactly, Rhonda. Exactly. You know what I mean? They've put that into our heads that we're no surprised at shit that they pull anymore. You know what I mean? So when something is maybe simple as this is somebody retiring, it makes your cogs work, you know. Is it because of such and such, you know what I mean? But if Jack's saying that he's at the retirement age, it could be just that he's at retirement age, but I just think it's too much of a coinkydink that he's mentioned in Zellner's motion and he's retired the same year her motions came out.
It
about
looks
2
like
months earlier.
it looks like he was certified March 8th, 1988. So that would be 10, 22, 24, 25 years. So yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Case 10, yes, I agree. It says, Alice, I understand you, just like Weaker. Coincidence or not, who knows? Yeah. Funny how she's all of a sudden retiring and taking early retirement.
Well,
It's
no,
like,
he's younger. He's younger than Senglaub because I think Wiegert's 54, and that is early.
Yeah. But why? Why all of a sudden now is he decided to take retirement? You know what I mean? So is it because his heat's no on the chopping block? Well, I'm sorry, no matter how early he retires, his heat will always be on the chopping block in my eyes.
Well, yeah.
Well, that one is a little stranger for me. Why he would retire this early? I can't answer that one. I just can't. I don't know.
Just put it right up there with the rest of the possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, there's that potential that they said, hey, look, this got out there, and you know, whatever, maybe something that be coming down the road here that you might want to go ahead and get out.
Might want to be gone.
Yeah. Yours says Senglaub is a football coach nowadays. Yeah, he might have yours. He might have gotten a full-time position at the, you know, one of the local high schools or something, and he decided to go ahead and take his retirement from the sheriff's department. He's been there, looks like about 25 years, so good time to get out.
No,
you know,
like the president.
Well, you know, I'm, you know, I just get this. Can't prove it. Again, I don't want to create no innuendo. This is just spitballing speculation. I just have to wonder if there's another CD or DVD of calls that has been withheld that we don't have. You know, the funny thing about a lot of these calls, and it happens at Calumet too, but a lot of these phone calls that come into the department, the dispatch, they say, oh, well, you know, have to transfer you, and then that's it. We don't hear any more. We don't get to hear the actual conversation. However, there are some we do. So does that mean that they actually are recorded and they've just been withheld? I can't answer that for sure. I just can't.
Yeah, it's an unknown.
It is an unknown, and I don't like it. I wish there was a better audit trail. We've talked about this before with open records. You know, I showed the open records request that I sent to Calumet County a couple of weeks ago. It's lengthy. You know, when you get into something like that, you'll wonder, okay, I've requested this because it's a known factor. We can see it in some kind of form of paperwork somewhere. But the unknowns are what bother me. The ledgers that, you know, well, I still think there's ledgers we don't have potentially from Manitowoc and Calumet. And we have I don't think we have any ledgers from the DCI, and they have their own set of ledgers that they kept up with. Apparently can't get those. So.
Yeah. I don't like not being able to get an answer as well. I mean, especially when one should be able to be gotten.
Well, it's frustrating.
When like we've got the Sawinski call phoning in, and then you've got the digits being pressed on the phone. Is it a case of they contact their own mobile phones? And that's why we can't get the information.
Brandy's put in chat here on
Well-
Discord. She can't comment on YouTube. That's weird.
Who can't?
Brandy McLean. She's put here on Discord in the open mic text that she can't chat in YouTube for some reason. She's restarted her device.
Yeah, or refresh the page.
Something. I mean, she should be able to chat. Not been any kind of. I've seen that happen before. It's just it's a YouTube glitch, but
Yeah.
anyway, I know this is a little bit. This is kind of a.
She's not timed out or kicked out or anything, so.
No one timed her out or anything. No, nothing like that.
No, but this has happened before, remember? I can't remember who it happened to. I don't know if it was maybe TJ or somebody like that they couldn't comment in the actual chat for some reason. I think it's definitely a YouTube thing. It's nothing to do with us. No time to do it or anything like that. So.
Sherry Lynn.
Was it Sherry Lynn that she had that glitch?
She said it was me.
Or somebody, yeah. And Bethany said it's her as well. So I knew that it happened to a couple of people that they couldn't reply in the chat. And funnily enough, with Brandy saying that, I haven't seen Brandy typing anything.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, in the last wee while. So
yeah, just total restart or refresh the page. I'm not sure if she's on her phone, or if you're on your phone, you'll have to exit out of YouTube and come back. If you're on maybe a PC, do the same thing, close it out and come back. I don't know why it's doing that. It's YouTube though. Anyway, this, I'm kind of like you, Alice. I don't know. I saw his retirement letter, and I thought, that's odd timing, coincidence.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm a little jaded like you. It's like, okay, was there some conversation that said, hey, these DVDs are out there now, and you're involved.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's not even that, Jack. It's because the state has gave us so many doubts and questions and everything like that. It's hard to believe anything that comes, even the reports that they have written. It's even hard to believe some of the things that are in that as well. So, I mean, my mind's just went over to it. It's too, for me, it's just too much that Casey's motions came out, last month? But he retired in April. So, yeah, to me, that's too coincidental there. I think he said something came up the pipeline, warning him that this could be coming up the pipeline, and he's like, right, fuck it, I'm retiring so that nothing can fall back on me. Because look at the stick that Coburn has got for writing that report 8 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, and I don't know. I'm like you. It seems awfully coincidental. I don't know. I don't want to put too big of a dot afterwards, but it is it's a little strange. I will say that for sure. Speaking of Coburn, I actually linked. There were 3 documents that came out last week, and I'll link those in the community chat. And we'll probably need to do a catch up. I was actually hoping we would get more before we got to it, but I'm really hoping some things get unsealed here soon by the judge. I don't know why they haven't been yet. There may be something that I haven't seen or just don't particularly understand about the case, but I'm hoping that some things get unsealed. I really wish the 4,000 plus text messages would get unsealed between Coburn and Brenda and I guess Michael Griesbach. I don't know. You know, that whole thing is it's just a train wreck, guys. It is an absolute disaster. Anyone that's followed that case, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. I just was laughing because it's such a joke.
Well, it is because, you know, if you read through all of it, you begin to understand that, you know, don't kill the messenger. This is just how I see it. Andy was used to benefit others.
Oh, yeah. I think so too.
Because they didn't want him to speak except for on convicting this documentary that hasn't hit yet. I suspect it will before too long, but you know, nonetheless, he was basically directed not to speak to any other reporters or entities, and only speak exclusively on that documentary. And there were, I don't know, just for him, you know, he's in such a fucking quandary and pickle over the events that happened. We can start at 2003 when Avery was released, and he was basically forced to write that little memo. There are other things that happened that got presented that were not true, and this is going to be a real problem coming up. Wait and see; it's going to be an issue. But anyway, the three documents got released. One of them, it's Exhibit 1, details. You know, actually, I could probably pull that up and we can look at it just briefly. I don't want to make an event out of this, but let's just look at it briefly here. Give me just a second, guys. We lost someone. Oh, NJ left. Okay, let's see here. Where the hell's that at? There. This is it.
The thin blue line, MTSO style. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it's just too, what's the word I'm looking for? With him retiring in April.
Coincidental?
Yeah, well, I'm sick of saying coincidences in this bloody case, but yeah, Jack, I mean, for me anyway, I don't know about anybody else or anybody else in chat, but for Kathleen's motion to come out in August and him retiring a few months earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, for me, it's just too much a coincidence. And I mean, it could be just something simple and easy and plain, but nothing's ever simple, easy, or plain when it comes to this frigging case.
No doubt. So what I've got pulled up now is there was a document, and then there's two exhibits that came with it. This is the Coburn case, guys. Again, I'm not going to make an event out of this. We'll do this separately, but just scan through it just briefly. And what this is, these are reports that Glenn and Kelly had when they did the depositions in 2005. So everybody's clear about that, okay? And it details just a lot of various things that Amy Lehman and Deborah Strauss did in the reports that they turned. You can see Tinker's name there. It's signed by Walter Kelly. This is a subpoena of what they expected them to bring. As you can see, you're commanded to appear, place and time, law offices of Fox and Fox. You're commanded to produce and permit inspection of copying of the certain documentations that they requested. They basically wanted all documentation, over specific things, which the Tinker brought. I don't know how much stuff they brought. I can't remember now, but it was quite a bit. This is April 11th, 2005, and Tinker was deposed. I think it was May 12th. I'm sorry, I think it was May 12th. So basically a month later, he was deposed by Kelly and Glenn and Kelly. And then, this right here goes into the attachment of all the stuff that they were directed to bring. And as you scroll through here, you can, this document, again, I put it in the community page, so anybody that wants it, you can grab it there. I actually think I think yours has moved these into the library. I probably will need to update that link, but nonetheless, they're still available. So this report here details the interview of Penny Berenstain that they did. Strauss and Lehman. Again, this goes into a lot of these documents that detail these interviews that they did and some other information. There's actually some writing on here that we really quite haven't figured out. You can see this writing on the side in these various areas. And we're not sure who did that. There's some more of it. This goes on more into the Bernstein report. Interview. I wish we had all of these. Unfortunately, we don't. But this is one of the exhibits that were included. And in this, there's some stuff that's in there that Griesbach and Coburn presented as true, which in fact was not. Don't ask me what the event was. I'd have to go look it up. But it's bad. I don't know if that's why, Griesbach left or not, but not only this event, but there are other events, especially being entangled with a third party and this breaking of what I consider the attorney-client privilege. I'm not a lawyer. You get what you pay for, right, Big Jeff? Get what you pay for, but this including of a third party and being involved, man, that just, I don't know, I just see that as splintering of everything that you're trying to accomplish. See,
yeah,
there's a bunch.
Jennifer Manning is asking you to please repeat that because you lost her for a second.
I'm not sure which part. Well, again, this goes into why Griesbach left. And I don't know this for a fact. This is just me speculating. I'm not a lawyer, but this communication between Griesbach and the third party started prior to him filing the lawsuit for Coburn. This communication and how that can affect the attorney-client privilege. To me, it's broken. It's broken before you ever start. She's not an associate or anything like that, association with the law firm or as a officer of the court, right? This is just an outside person, well-meaning or not. It doesn't matter. This is someone that's outside that close contact that an attorney and a client should be sharing privately. Again, you get what you pay for. This is just an opinion that if I was doing this, I damn well wouldn't want any communication like that shared. If you're talking to your attorney about strategy and potential information coming out that you're going to be filing on, you're claiming defamation, keep that shit private, and I mean private.
And that just seems like common knowledge to me, or logical, or something to me.
It gets even
about.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that was all I had.
Well, okay, but it gets more complicated because this third party is involved in making a documentary. If you like the documentary or not, it really doesn't matter. They're associating him in being included in this documentary while he's filing a lawsuit. To me, it splinters everything. I don't know how that that affected, Greasebach's decision to get out. I just don't know. Nonetheless,
Share. Hold on a sec, Jack. Share. See, now you've got my cogs gone even more, because that's bloody right. She says, Dr. Silkman, when it first became public knowledge that Sawinski had seen Bobby pushing the RAV. Well, that's true. When did she put in that motion? The first motion saying about Sawinski. That was at the end of last year, was it? No, November,
that's right.
Something like that last year.
That's right.
Right. And now he's retiring in April of this year. Jesus fucking Christ. Does that mean that he's remembered the name Sawinski and the fact that he didn't write a report and everything like that? So that just cements my thoughts even more that he's only retired because of this Sawinski incident. Oh!
My mind, Alice, but I didn't want to say it and get you all excited. So thanks a lot, Sheriff.
Yeah, you bugger.
Well, I'm kind of like you guys. I'm really jaded over this stuff because of so much that we don't know. But again, that door is wide open to say, well, okay, this timing's weird. But again, this guy is, he's probably at minimum around 50. I don't know exactly what his age was when he joined the department. That's not in his file. I don't know what his date of birth is. So, but again, he's got 25 years in. His involvement, I don't know, maybe they see the potential of it.
Some cops go for like 30 years in that, though, Jack.
Absolutely.
Sometimes 40 years.
Yeah, that's right.
To get their benefits and everything like that, so that they're getting their pensions and everything like that. You know what I mean? But the
longer you stay, the more your retirement is closer to your. Like say it. Probably at 30 years, I'm going to guess his retirement pay is probably going to be 80 or 90%, maybe. I don't know what their contract is, but the longer you stay, the closer your retirement pay is to your actual salary.
It was almost 35 years, not 25, 30. It was almost 35 years.
And there you go.
So, my thoughts are still gone. Zellner puts that motion out in November saying that she's got a witness that's came forward. It's a paper boy who was on Avery salvage yard saying that he called into the police station and knew he's retiring. Nah. There's just something too fishy there. Honestly, there is. Thanks, Cher.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking here. No, that's not. I'm trying to find the actual date that she put that in.
November, I think it was the middle of November last year. She put that motion in.
Yeah, I think it was middle of November or sometime in November.
Yeah, it was definitely the end of last year that she put that in, that she put that motion in. And then he retires in April. I think they've checked, realised he's no wrote a report or anything today with that phone call coming in, which is a tip, which they should have followed up on all tips that was coming in. And they've and he's maybe just dismissed it and no bother putting a report in. And then Zellner's put this motion in at the end of last year, which has came and butt him in the ass, and now he's retiring. Yeah, that's just too much.
I actually thought that she put that in prior to that because, and I'll tell you why. Man, I'm getting confused here and I don't want to. Didn't she put that in prior to them answering? No, I guess she did. It's not listed. That actual brief is not, motion is not listed on Work with KZ, and I thought it was, but it's not. But I thought I was thinking to myself, she put the Sowinski stuff in prior to them ruling. And that ruling came at the end of July last year, where they basically denied her everything except, and there were a few things listed that she actually has went and filed this PCR on. She dropped the other one, and she's included all this other. I was thinking that she put the Sowinski stuff in prior to them ruling, and that they said that could be included. Anyway, that's going to take a little digging to get to.
Doc says, if I was, he says, there is no direct evidence that Sowinski called in on November 6, 2005. MTSO has a lot to explain. Yeah, because there is direct evidence now.
There is now.
That phone call, that phone call was made. So why did MTSO not follow up on an important, because to me that would be an important tip, somebody is saying, that they seen her car being pushed up Avery Road by somebody other than Avery. So to me that is a major part or a major tip in the investigation which should have been followed through. And since Casey put in that motion until April, they've had a chance to go back and look and see whether there's reports, information, or whatever about Sowinski. They've maybe came across this phone call that he did make, and now they've made him retire.
Well, I'm also curious here, and I'm looking for it.
While you're looking, Jack, Doc says, if I was Senglaub, I would be going to a South American country, same place that Fallon is.
I saw that.
Yeah, I agree.
Bethany says she put it in before they responded and told her to file it anew. Yeah, because they kind of gave her the gateway, didn't they? Because they says she could put it in a new 90740 or 97406. So yeah, that's to me that's a major red flag that she's mentioned him last year and now he's retired at the beginning of this year. That's just too much of a coincidence for my liking. You're right, Doc, that call should never have been released. And just thank God that MTSO got a new custodian. And that was how it's got released, because any of them that have been involved, and that even the custodians that have been involved since 2000 or been in that office since 2003 would know not to put out certain things and everything like that, because they would have been warned by Weigert being the sheriff and everything like that. Don't be putting anything else out that could incriminate, you know what I mean, or be exculpatory or whatever, because that call, in my opinion, is exculpatory evidence, new exculpatory evidence, so he should get a new trial.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. I'm looking for something, but I can't find it. Anyway, another thing that interests me is, I mentioned it earlier, this Officer Novak and this Devon Novak. So if we think about it, and again, I don't know if there's any relation, but if there were phone calls made, Kirby, trying to find connection and try to find something to corroborate Sowinski's call more than this, this call that we do have. and this Devon Novak comes forward. Is there any relation between her and this Officer Novak that's on the force? I guess we're gonna have to get out the. I guess we're gonna have to do a little digging, because I just caught that, and I just happened to think, wasn't her name Novak?
Yeah.
But I guess that's for a later time.
Yeah, Yoga for the Ageless is as important as someone calling in and saying they may have the wrong person who committed the rape. Yeah, I completely agree with that, Yoga. That phone call the Sawinski made to MTSO is as important as that. It's one of the important things in the whole case, in my opinion. So, and somebody's head should be on the line if it's not being followed through.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just, Cherie, at least it's not something that I had downloaded, but Cherie just gave us a link for document 265 that was filed on the 7th of September, sorry. So she was probably in the hospital and was unable to get it. Is Cherie still on the call?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cherie can probably say better what it is if she's up to it.
Just downloaded it. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm fixing it.
Yeah, I've downloaded and opened it. Cherie, what is that, did you think?
I haven't read both of them. One is a declaration of Andy Coburn, and it has some handwriting and crossing out on it. And then the other one is just a screenshot of a text-only order. I think it granted them they could have some more words, but in their upcoming motion or whatever that they're going to submit.
Got it. Can we read this, Jack? It's not really a lot. There's a lot that's left blank, so
I'm fixing to open it, and I'm gonna let you read.
Oh, okay.
There we go. It should be on screen.
On there?
It is.
Oh, whoops. How did I get over in the library? Okay. I've got several tabs open. That's the problem. That's how we roll. Okay. So this is we're just now getting this. Myself, I'm just now getting this. I'm guessing that Cherie was probably already in the hospital and sedated.
I'm sure.
By the time this came out.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to talk about that. I'm kidding.
No more hospital stays for Cherie.
Well, no, but I mean, if she's got to go, then we're going to have to pass the torch. I'm kidding.
Oh, I have a Pacer account. I just can't remember my password, so I'm locked out. But let's see. Okay, this is a like she said, it's a declaration of Andrew Coburn. It says, I, Andrew Coburn, pursuant to something 1746, hereby declare, I understand that in a letter to my attorneys dated July 8th, 2022, counsel for Netflix, Inc. proposed 63 discrete factual stipulations in an effort to streamline questioning at my deposition, scheduled to begin on July 21st, and that letter is attached hereto as Exhibit A. B. I understand that my counsel responded to that letter by email on July 20th, and that email
and its attachment.
July 20th, 2022, and that email and its attachment are attached hereto as Exhibit B. C. Now, in reliance on Netflix's counsel representation that they will use my admission of certain facts to streamline my deposition, I hereby make the following admissions as well as some additional factual averments. I understand that defendants in this case do not stipulate to the additional factual averments. To avoid confusion, I have maintained the numbering scheme used in Netflix's July 8th letter. Anything marked as intentionally left blank is so marked because at this juncture, I do not agree to the stipulation proposed by Netflix. Well, la-ti-da, who the fuck are you?
Holy
So
hell.
he's left 1 through 9 were intentionally left blank. Number 10, I wrote a statement in September of 2003 regarding a telephone call that I received in or around 1994 or 1995 while I was a corrections officer at the Manitowoc County Jail. The statement was provided to then Sheriff Kenneth Peterson, who told me that he would put the statement in a safe. Shortly thereafter, the statement was turned over to investigators for the state of Wisconsin. 11 was left intentionally blank. 12. In response to examination at the criminal trial of Stephen Avery, I acknowledged that the trial was the first time I felt my integrity as a law enforcement officer had been questioned, and he intentionally left 13 through 16 blank. Number 17. I believe that Jerome Buting has what? Sorry,
What?
I'm reading this as cold as can be, so I believe that Jerome Buting has damaged my reputation in out-of-court statements about me that were made after the release of Making a Murderer, which you never watched, so how the fuck would you know? 18. At one point, I wanted to sue Mr. Buting for defamation. 19. It's like, what is happening right now? 19. I believe that Dean Strang has damaged my reputation in out-of-court statements about me that were made after the release of Making a Murderer. 20. At one point, I wanted to sue Mr. Strang for defamation. 21. I believe former Post-Crescent journalist John Farrak, oh my God, has damaged my reputation.
Okay, let's pause at 20. Now let's pause at 21 here.
Okay.
And I've said this before. Again, I don't really mean to get into a lot of the Coburn stuff. It needs to be a separate podcast. Well, we're here. Well, let's just talk about it a minute.
We might as well just do it.
The third party, Brenda, wrote a letter to Mr. Farrak, John Farrak, about this article in the Post-Crescent. And she was, I won't say she was really terrible, but she wasn't very kind for what Farrak wrote about, Coburn. And he wrote things about other officers as well, too. So it wasn't just Coburn that really came under the ink, the harsh ink of John Farrak in that article. But I know that there was some communication between them. But then I know that there's emails that she wrote in conjunction with the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department about this. And that gave a foot in the door. I don't want to say anything more harsh than that. This is my theory. Okay, let's just call it a theory or an opinion. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's what I see. So she reacted to John Farrak about what had got printed in the Post-Crescent. Okay.
But I mean, I wanted to sue Jay Butin. I wanted to sue Strang. I wanted to sue John Farrak. But instead, you sue one of the biggest conglomerates that's there. You know what I mean? You probably would have been better trying to sue Strang or Butin or Farrak.
He went for the deep pockets, Alice. Come on.
Sure did. And he's going to pay dearly for that, I'm afraid.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
But because of all, just a few of the things that, we've detailed here in the last 10 minutes, this case is just a disaster
Yeah.
All right,
It
continue
really is.
on. Continue. 22.
Okay, so 22 is when he says that at one point he wanted to sue Mr. Farrat for defamation. 23 through 26 were intentionally left blank. However, on number 27 he says, I have not watched Making a Murderer in its entirety.
Let's pause just for a second. Let's pause
just for a second.
I want everybody here in Discord and everybody out there in live chat, raise your right hand if you think that's a true statement. And I can tell you, my arm behind my back.
Oh, yeah, mine are tied behind my back.
Yeah, we're a load of bollocks. He said in his statements before he hasn't watched the frigging documentary. Now he's saying that he's not watched it. We'll
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you hover, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing.
Darkside, you think he's watched it? Come on now. Or you think he hasn't watched it, Darkside?
Here's the thing, guys. If he didn't watch it, and I'm talking about going all the way back to the end of December 2015, who had the power to gaslight him so fucking bad that he would start looking for a lawyer if he hadn't watched it?
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
How would he know they have portrayed him in a certain way or a certain manner if he hasn't watched it? As he brought this lawsuit because his mates have came up to him and went, here, Andy boy, you know such and such has said this and said that and said this about you. You know what I mean? It is bloody pathetic. Of course he's watched it. I guarantee you every single friggin' one of them have watched it.
I'm going to reveal something else for those that, haven't really stayed kind of on the pulse of this. You guys know that he claimed that Making a Murderer is the reason he got divorced, right? Everybody knows it. Yeah, well, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh.
No, that's not true.
Well,
he had a clandestine encounter with another person that broke.
Or another person.
Yeah, well, I guess another female or a female
or
another entity. Yeah, that's what broke his marriage. That's what dissolved his marriage, not Making a Murderer, okay?
No.
Dr. Silkman says, wait, is Coburn going to sue us for reading Farrat's book?
Well, all I can tell you is he's hard to get blood from a turnip, and I'm the turnip, and so he's not going to get anything from me. I don't have anything. Anyway, continue on. 28 through 34 are left blank.
Yeah, those are left blank intentionally, and he says it on number 35. I have watched no portion of episode 8 to my knowledge and recollection, no portion of episode 9 to his knowledge and recollection, and he has watched no portion of episode 10 to his knowledge and recollection. Number 38. I am voluntarily participating in a documentary tentatively called Convicting a Murderer, which has not yet been released to the public. I'm dying.
Which goes back to what happened earlier. He was basically instructed not to talk to anyone else. They want exclusivity to him for that documentary.
It's watering right now. I'm dying.
Well,
so bad.
I mean, that number 38 on it in itself, I have intentionally been involved in convicting a murder. Well, you were intentionally asked to be involved in MAM 1 as well, and you all fucking declined. So there's no point in greeting over spilled ginger if it's fuck. God, this case drives me round the bend. It really does.
Said? Oh, I can't even handle it.
As long as he doesn't act like a fanny, Alice.
Right over spilled ginger, is that what you said?
She did. Spilled ginger.
Spilled ginger. So spilled juice.
We call it spilled milk here. Same thing. Anyway, 39 through 43 intentionally left blank.
Number 44. No person I have identified in response to Chrome Media LLC's first set of interrogatories, interrogatory number 10, has ever told me that making a murderer caused the person to think less of me, but some people identified in the response have treated me differently since the release of the series. Wait, what?
Well, he's saying that because of the series getting released, that other people have approached him differently. Well, maybe they have. Yeah. You know, well, you know, it's like certain people, you know, people don't see certain aspects of other people's lives that they didn't know about, and they see it and they're like, wait, you did what?
What did you?
Yeah. What did you do?
You did what? You did what to that cabinet? Sorry. 48.
45.
Or 45. Some members of my law enforcement community supported me after the release of Making a Murderer, but some did not. 46. Some members of my faith community supported me after the release of Making a Murderer, but some did not.
Yeah.
47 was left blank. I'm sorry, these are funny to me. Because they're just so ridiculous. 48. Huh?
It's pathetic.
It is ridiculous.
Even in his fucking court filings, you can see how pathetic he is. Never mind seeing him on the friggin' stand, you know what I mean? And he thinks that that's ruined his reputation. Your whole persona ruins your fucking reputation, you half-wit.
You tosser. I voluntarily retired from the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department in 2018. 49, intentionally left blank. Number 50, I had a retirement party when retiring from the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department in 2018. Oh, yay. 51, upon announcing my retirement, I received supportive calls from some people. 52, since my retirement, I decided to return to the workforce and was able to find new employment. 53 was intentionally left blank. Number 54. I filed for divorce from my now ex-wife, Barb Coburn, in March of 2021. Number 55. My divorce from Ms. Coburn was finalized in February of 2022. 56. For purposes of this case, I have agreed not to assert that making a murder caused my divorce.
Okay, let's just hold the bus right there. He has claimed that. Now he's changing that. Here we go. Yeah, let's go on to 50. Let's go on to 57 here.
57. Number 57. Here comes the truth. I had a romantic relationship with Jody Maurer prior to my divorce from Ms. Coburn. He had to admit that because there's probably proof of it all over the place.
There probably is. We haven't seen it.
Number 58. I moved out of the residence that I shared with Ms. Coburn. There, we just haven't seen it, but important people to this case have. Sure. 58. I moved out of the residence that I shared with Ms. Coburn in January 2021. I moved back into the residence in March of 2021.
Weird.
Okay. Number 59. I began living with Ms. Maurer at a shared residence in April 2021.
Yeah, the following month. That's weird.
Wow. That's bizarre. Okay. Number 60. Making a murderer did not cause Ms. Maurer to avoid romantic.
That's nice. What the fuck?
So it was just your lying persona. Oh, God. Okay, 61. My relationship with Ms. Maurer harmed my relationship with my ex-wife, Ms. Coburn.
No shit.
Number 62. My relationship my relationship with Miss Maurer also harmed my relationship with my adult children. Number 63 was left blank, and he declares this under penalty of perjury under the laws. Well, so what? It's funny to me. I'm sorry, you guys. Oh, geez. Okay.
So he's answered the questions. He's answered the questions about himself and about the affair that he had, even though he said that making a murderer ruined his marriage. Well, if making a murderer ruined his marriage, why the fuck is he only putting in for a divorce in 2021? You know what I mean? Surely if making a murderer ruined his marriage, it would have been between 2007 onwards. You know what I mean? Why is it taking all that time for him to get a divorce and then saying it was making a murderer that done it? That's why I'm claiming damages.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, wait a minute. No, it was my affair. You know what I mean? It's just no.
I'm going to read. I'm going to read.
Declare it first or now.
I'm going to read this next. I'm going to read this next one here. It's a proposed stipulation ahead of Plaintiff Andrew Coburn's deposition. I'm going to guess this is where we're going to get the rest of what they asked. Okay. Dear counsel, in light of Judge Ludwig's strong suggestion at the July 7 hearing for the parties to work together to streamline Plaintiff Andrew Coburn's deposition, we propose the following stipulations. Please let us know by Friday, July 15th, whether Mr. Coburn will stipulate to these facts so that we have time to finalize our questions and exhibits for Mr. Coburn's July 21 deposition. If Mr. Coburn is not willing to stipulate to any fact below, we will require time at his deposition to question him about that fact. If you try to end the deposition before defendants can complete their examination, and if defendants are required to renew their motion for additional deposition time, we will provide a copy of this letter to the court along with other relevant materials. I don't remember which all ones he declined to answer. We'll just read through them here. 1. Plaintiff Andrew Coburn has no evidence that any Netflix employee attended any portion of the proceedings, civil or criminal, involving Stephen Avery. Mr. Coburn, these are all they all want this stipulated before going into the deposition. Number 2, Mr. Coburn has no evidence that any Netflix employee has ever been to Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. Number 3, Mr. Coburn has no evidence that any Netflix employee ever spoke to anyone who appears in Making a Murderer. 4, Mr. Coburn has no evidence that any Netflix employee ever received or read any transcript from any proceeding, civil or criminal, involving Mr. Avery. Number 5, Mr. Coburn has no evidence that any Netflix employee ever received or watched any raw footage of any proceeding, civil or criminal, involving Mr. Avery. They're protecting themselves. I understand now. Number 6, Mr. Coburn has no evidence that any Netflix employee ever received or watched any other raw footage used by filmmakers in creating Making a Murderer. Number 7, at the trial, Mr. Avery, for the murder of Teresa Halbach, a central part of Mr. Avery's defense was that law enforcement, including Mr. Coburn, planted evidence to frame him. Thereafter, the quote unquote frame up theory. Number 8, one part of the frame up theory put forth by the defense in Mr. Avery's trial was that Mr. Coburn was looking directly at Ms. Halbach's vehicle when he made a November 3, 2005 call to dispatch. Did he decline the answer to that? Do you have that document open, Rhonda? Can you scroll up and look?
I do. Which number?
Number 8.
Yeah. Number 8. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, he left that one blank.
That's interesting.
Yep. Yeah. It is.
Number 9, a second part of the frame-up theory put forth by the defense at Mr. Avery's trial was that Mr. Coburn was involved in planting the key in Ms. Halbach's vehicle in Mr. Avery's bedroom. Is that one blank?
Blank, yes.
That's really interesting. That is really, those two there are really fucking interesting to me.
Yeah.
Number 10, Coburn wrote a report in September 2003 regarding a telephone call he received in and around 1995 while he was a corrections officer at the Manitowoc County Jail. That report was provided to then Sheriff Kenneth Peterson, who kept the report in a safe before it was turned over to investigators for the state of Wisconsin. Did he agree to that one? Or blank?
Yes. He filled that one in.
Okay. 11. Mr. Coburn felt. Oh.
What? 11?
Mr. Coburn felt wrong by the frame-up theory put forth by the defense at Mr. Avery's trial.
Yeah, he left that one blank.
12. Mr. Coburn felt frame-up theory put forth by the defense at Mr. Avery's trial questioned his integrity. 13.
Yeah,
Mr. Coburn.
He filled that one in.
Mr. Coburn felt the frame-up theory put forth by the defense at Mr. Avery's trial harmed his reputation. 14. The defense use of the frame-up. Yep, the defensive use of the frame-up theory at Mr. Avery's trial caused Mr. Coburn distress. What about 15?
Blank.
15 blank?
Everything, yep, through 17.
Okay. So
or
these through 16?
Yeah.
Okay. 15. Even prior to its release, Mr. Coburn understood that making a murder would not portray him in a favorable light because it would document the frame-up theory put forth by the defense at Mr. Avery's trial. 16. After making a murder's release, Mr. Coburn recognized that claims it makes, if any, mirror those claimed by the defense during Mr. Avery's trial for the murder of Ms. Halbach. 17. Mr. Coburn believes Jerome Buting has damaged his reputation. 18. Mr. Coburn wanted to sue Buting. 19. He believes Strang has damaged his reputation. 20. He wanted to sue Strang. Same for 20 and 21 for Frack. 23.
23, he left blank.
Believes that Ms. Zellner has damaged his reputation. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Zellner has damaged his reputation. 24.
You know what I mean? Try to say Zellner about his reputation. Oh my God.
24. At one point, Mr. Avery wanted to sue Ms. Zellner for defamation. Are you kidding me? Good luck with that. 25. What do you do with 25?
He left it blank, I believe.
An article by Mr. Frack prompted a lot of death threats to be directed at Mr. Coburn. 26. Statement during the interview with third-party filmmakers that he did not watch one single second of Making Murder was untrue. That's the reason that's the reason he answered those the way he did. 27. Mr. Coburn has not watched Making Murder in its entirety. 28. Mr. Coburn has watched no portion of episode 1, 29, episode 2. And it goes all the way through 37, all the way through 10. 38. Mr. Coburn
left 28 through 34 blanks. Sorry.
And you're fine. No, see, that's the reason he answered the way he did, because he has watched part of it for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
38. Mr. Coburn is voluntarily participating in a documentary tentatively called Convicting a Murder, which has not yet been released to the public, which answered, Convicting a Murder is meant to serve as a rebuttal to Making a Murder. Did he answer 39?
No, he did not.
40. Mr. Coburn entered into an exclusivity agreement with the producers for Convicting a Murderer. Cha-ching. I get a Coke for that. 41. Mr. Coburn exclusivity agreement for convicting a murderer, or at least his understanding of that agreement, has caused him to decline opportunities to publicly defend his reputation. And what did I say earlier? Of course it did. Can't talk to anyone. 42. Brenda Schuler, one of the producers of Convicting a Murderer, has told Mr. Coburn that the people making it are pro-law enforcement that will make Mr. Avery look guilty as fuck, GAF, and that it will, quote, humanize the hell out of, quote, Mr. Coburn. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Jack. Very interesting. indeed, considering what she's already said. You know, about it not being one-sided or anything like that, which we knew was a load of bullshit anyway. But that just cements it even more. And let me guess, he never answered that one, Rhonda?
No. Come on now.
What about 43? Did he answer 43?
No, it's blank. It's blank.
Ms. Schuler's disclosure of the information set forth in stipulation number 42 has not caused Mr. Coburn to withdraw his cooperation from convicting a murderer. 44. No person identified by Mr. Coburn in response to Chrome Media LLC's first set of interrogatories, interrogatory number 10, has ever told him that making a murderer caused the person to think less of him. That's why he wrote that other stuff, yeah. 45. Mr. Coburn's law enforcement community supported him after the release of Making a Murderer. That's why he said some did and some didn't.
Yeah.
And the same for 46 about his faith community supported him. 47, no one has confronted Mr. Coburn as a result of making a murderer. 48, Mr. Coburn voluntarily retired in 2018. 49, in 2016, Mr. Coburn was already preparing to retire from the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office in no more than 3 years. Number 50,
that one blank.
Yeah. Well, you remember in that one filing we read, he said he had lost like $100,000 because he had to retire early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number 51, upon announcing his retirement, Mr. Coburn received supportive calls from dozens of people. 52, since his retirement, Mr. Coburn decided to return to the workforce and was able to find new employment, which he said he did. 53, Mr. Coburn has not lost income due to making a murder, which he claimed he had. Now, I know that. Did you leave that blank? 53?
Which one was that? 53, I believe. Yes, it's blank.
54, Mr. Coburn filed for divorce from his now ex-wife Bob Coburn in March of 2021. He agreed to that. 55, Mr. Coburn's divorce from Ms. Coburn was finalized in February of 2022. 56, making a murder did not cause Mr. Coburn's divorce, which he said it had in the past.
Yep.
Mr. Coburn had an affair with Jody Maurer while married to Ms. Coburn. Bad boy. 59, after filing for divorce from Ms. Coburn, Mr. Coburn moved out of the residence he shared with Ms. Coburn. 59, Mr. Coburn immediately began living with Ms. Maurer as a shared resident. 60, making a murder did not cause Ms. Maurer to avoid romantic entanglement with Mr. Coburn. Entanglement? Strong words there. 61, Mr. Coburn and Mr. Coburn's infidelity irreparably harmed his relationship with his ex-wife, Ms. Coburn. 62, Mr. Coburn's infidelity also harmed his relationship with his adult children. Well, I'm sure 60 and 61 for sure. If you wouldn't, no doubt. I mean, they've been married for, pretty long time. I can't say how many years, but.
A lot.
I mean, honestly, the way that he's been going on and the way he's been talking about how making a murderer ruined his marriage and everything like that.
And his life.
As I says earlier, the way he's gone on, it's like his marriage broke up between 2007 for when the trial, 2015 when the trial happened, you know what I mean? But they only got finalised this year. So it's not been nothing to do with making a murderer, it's been to do with his infidelity. But yet his claims is that making a murderer ruined his marriage, ruined his reputation, he lost money and everything like that, where he's just said and all this that he didn't lose any money because he got more employment and everything like that. So why the hell is this case still going through the fucking court system?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he basically said it ruined his life. I mean, and that's not true. He's made decisions that are not at all about making a murder that has caused irreparable harm to his ex-wife and his children. So that's on him. That's not on making a murder. 63, rifts within his immediate family have caused Mr. Coburn anxiety, and distress. I have no doubt it probably has. Signed by the...
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're having an affair, when you're still married to somebody, and your kids get pissed off at you for cheating on their mother. You know what I mean? Of course it's going to cause you stress and distress. Nothing to do with making a murderer, though, is it, Coburn?
Nope. Signed by the extraordinary Leetta Walker. Just love her.
Leetta Walker. Yeah, she's good. She's awesome.
She is. Oh. And then this next email was July 20th. I guess this is from April Barker. Leetta, in reliance on your representation. You want to read this one? I need to get a drink. Can you read this one, Rhonda?
Leetta, in reliance of your representation that you will use proposed stipulations to streamline your deposition questioning of Mr. Coburn, I am attaching a document that lists those of your proposed stipulations that Mr. Coburn will agree to enter into, referenced by paragraph number in your initial correspondence proposing them, and also reproduced below the list of numbers, as well as several stipulations that Mr. Coburn would agree to enter into if revised as shown in the attached document, also referenced by paragraph number from your original proposed stipulation list. April.
Here's the proposed. Here's the proposed. Yeah. You can read them if you want.
Well, no, go ahead. I just if you
no. I need to get another link. You go ahead and read this.
Okay. Approved proposed stipulations 18, 20, 21, 22, 27, 38, 48, 50, 52, 54, and 55. Number 18. At one point, Mr. Coburn wanted to sue Mr. Buting for defamation. At one point, he wanted to sue Mr. Strang for defamation, and he believes John Farrak has damaged his reputation. And at one point, he wanted to sue Mr. Farrak for defamation. 27, Coburn has not watched Making a Murderer. And so this is just stipulating all of the ones that he's left blank, it looks like.
Correct.
Do you want me to read all of them?
Nah, you don't have. Nah, you don't have.
Answer doesn't know. That's the one Mr. Coburn is voluntarily participating in a documentary, tentatively convicting the murderer. So these are the ones that he's already answered. I think the ones above, Rhonda, that you said right at the very top, that's the ones that there are no answering. Go back up, scroll back up, Jack.
Because you mean the ones that it says approved proposed stipulations? 18, 20, 21, 22, 27, 38, 48.
Yeah, these are approved.
These are all the approved ones.
So they're the ones that he's answered, and the other ones are the ones that he's not answered.
Yeah, he's got them listed here. Revised proposed.
Okay.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So number 10, Mr. Coburn wrote a statement in September 2003 regarding a telephone call he received in or around 1994 or 1995 while he was a corrections officer at the Manitowoc County Jail. The statement was provided to then Sheriff Kenneth Peterson, who told Mr. Coburn. So these are all of the
proposed.
Shortly after it was turned over to investigations for state of Wisconsin. 11, Mr. Coburn felt that,
Go ahead.
Mr. Coburn felt that defense theories involving the possibility that Stephen Avery may have been framed for the murder of Teresa Halbach were ludicrous. He also thought that he was not being fairly portrayed by defense attorneys at Mr. Avery's trial. Number 12, Mr. Coburn acknowledged in response to examination at the Avery criminal trial that the trial was the first time that he felt that his integrity as a law enforcement officer has ever been questioned. I wonder if there's a report somewhere.
As a law enforcement officer, first time as a law. That's quantified.
Yeah. Exactly. 15. Prior to its release, Mr. Coburn was told that Making a Murderer would not portray him in a favorable light because it was going to be a hatchet job.
Well,
17.
who told him that?
I don't know. Somebody, yeah, who told him that? Prior to its, yeah, who told him that? It certainly wasn't the producers.
I'm guessing it was Kratz because, he refused
Of course it was.
to participate.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that came down to everyone. You can't be in this documentary. Hey, it's their own damn fault they didn't step in front of the camera and say, this is what we're doing, this is why we did it, blah, blah, blah. That's their fault.
Yeah,
anyway.
I agree.
Anyway,
they had every opportunity like everybody else.
Yep.
Number 17. Mr. Coburn believes that Jerome Buting has damaged his reputation in out-of-court statements about Mr. Coburn that were made after the release of Making a Murderer. And then it's the same for Dean Strang in 19. In number 35, Mr. Coburn has watched no portion of episode 8 to his knowledge and recollection. But if he hasn't watched any of it, then why would that be in question?
Yeah,
exactly. And he's watched no portion of episode 9 and no portion of episode 10 to his knowledge and recollection. 44. No person identified by Mr. Coburn in response to Chrome Media LLC's first set of interrogatories, interrogatory number 10, has ever told him that Making a Murderer caused the person to think less of him, but some of them have treated him differently since the release of the series. That's subjective.
Very.
But whatever. 45. Some members of Mr. Colburn's law enforcement community supported him after the releasing of Making a Murderer, but some did not. I wonder who did not. 46. Some members of Mr. Colburn's faith community supported him after the release of Making a Murderer, but some did not. I wonder if those in his faith community did not support him because they knew that he was an adulterer. Just asking.
That's a real possibility. I was thinking exactly the same thing. That's very, very possible.
Yeah. 51. Upon announcing his retirement, Mr. Coburn received supportive calls from some people. In 56, for purposes of this case, Mr. Coburn has agreed not to assert that Making a Murderer caused Mr. Colburn's divorce. Well, yeah, because there's proof out there that it didn't.
Yep.
57, Mr. Coburn had a romantic relationship with Jody Maurer prior to his divorce from Ms. Colburn. 58, Mr. Colburn moved out of the residence he shared with Ms. Colburn in January of 2021, and he moved back to the residence in March of 2021. Whatever.
It almost sounds like, it sounded to me like, that there could have been a financial problem or a problem for him finding.
Like maybe.
Well, he might have been having trouble.
Or something.
Well, he might have been having trouble finding a place to stay, to live, and the wife is pissed at him, but she's like, just come back here until you get your shit settled, and then you can move out.
Maybe, could be. But I'd sure like to know more information about his divorce.
Absolutely.
Boy, it's public record. Number 59, Mr. Coburn began living with Ms. Maurer at a shared residence in April 2021. Number 60, Making a Murderer did not cause Ms. Maurer to avoid romantic involvement with Mr. Coburn. Number 61, Mr. Colburn's relationship with Ms. Maurer harmed his relationship with his ex-wife, Ms. Coburn. Duh. Harmed it or ruined it? I mean, Jesus. Mr. Colburn, number 62, Mr. Colburn's relationship with Ms. Maurer also harmed his relationship with his adult children.
Well, yeah. I'm going to say that I'm going to say that relationship could have ruined the relationship with his ex-wife and certainly severely damaged the relationship with his kids.
Yeah.
Aye, the damage with his kids is because he cheated on their mom. You know what I mean?
If they're adult kids, they know what that means, and they know that it's. R. William is asking, I think, something about what does number 62 mean? His Colburn's relationship with his mistress harmed his relationship with his adult children.
Correct.
I think, if that's what.
That's correct. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, wow.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Cherie. That was timely.
Yeah, that was very timely.
I mean, I wanted to talk about Coburn. I didn't really want to include so much with this particular podcast because this is really about Senglaub, but that's fine. It gave us, it led us to get some more information out. But again, I suspect there could be, I'm hoping some things get unsealed this coming week. We'll see.
If what's sealed is anything even remotely juicy as this was.
Oh, I think if those text messages get unsealed, it's going to be a you talk about juicy, it's going to be a river.
Exactly, it's going to be insane.
Well, if we just go back just a few months and we think about, I don't know how many people have listened to the hearing, the July 14th hearing, or June 14th hearing, and the judge was he was pissed as hell at Griesbach. He was mad as hell. Yeah. I hand it to Judge Ludwig. He held it together, but you can still tell he was mad. You don't want a federal judge mad at you, number one. But I look at all these different instances of various things that have happened in his case, and man, it is such a clusterfuck. Pardon my French, but it is. You got the third party involvement. You got, I don't know what the hell Griesbach was doing. But then on top of that, you have his lawyer and this producer saying, hey, we really want you just involved in this documentary. You can't really talk to anyone else, okay? And sign this piece of paper saying you won't. Man, the man was used. There's no doubt about it. He was used.
He was used by convicting, and he was used by everybody else in Manitowoc and Calumet. He was used by the whole. He's been the piece of shit.
Patsy,
exactly. That's the word I was looking for from the beginning.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
But it ruined his reputation in that much that he lost his wife and his kids, and nobody wanted to speak to him, and he was all Andy mates. I knew all of a sudden it was my adultery that ruined my marriage and stopped my Wayne's talking to me and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Friggin' mind.
Well, the questions for me, I don't know about everyone else out there that watched Making a Murderer, but for me, the questions really ignited when it was revealed in Making a Murderer that this detective from Brown County called and said, hey, we've got this guy here that says he did this, rape and assault on this woman that you got a guy in prison serving time for. He's admitted to it. Guys, I have just so many problems with this alleged call to Andy. He's the jailer. Yeah. Why would a detective from Brown County is not some rinky-dink little outfit. It's a large county in Manitowoc, in Wisconsin. Well, why wouldn't they have the direct number for the detective bureau in Manitowoc instead of the jail? Something's not adding up for me there. It just doesn't.
It could be something as simple as the officer in Brown County knew that Coburn was working at that jail and knew of Coburn. Maybe he was a mate or something like that, and phoned him to say, here, by the way, we've got somebody here who's saying he's done the rape and know the one that you've got in the jail, because you're guaranteed they've all spoke about it, Jack. You know what I mean? The Polish luncheons. You know what I mean? You know that they have these conventions and stuff like that. They could have all been at this convention talking about the Avery case, patting themselves on the back, saying what a good job they've done and everything like that. And then this has happened with Brown County. So then they know, I mean, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but they know of Coburn working there. So he's phoned in there to say, here, mate, you know what I mean? You need to do something about this, pass it on to your superiors, you know?
Well, that's a, I mean, for me, that's a pretty significant reach. I don't know, maybe. Hey, I'd like to welcome, looking at chat here, I'd like to welcome Mark Hodnut to the live. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Really appreciate you dropping by.
Mark's got some really good comments.
He does. He does. Go ahead and read them.
Oh,
I've got it here.
He says,
go ahead.
Yeah, first he says, we were talking about, Coburn being used by law enforcement. And he says that he's been used all his law enforcement life.
Yes.
And I
100% agree
with that. And then he says his big problem is that he's not smart enough to realize he's being used. And I could not agree more with that statement alone.
Absolutely.
He just isn't bright enough to figure it out. He thinks they still got his back, and he's the one that's gonna eat shit whenever this all blows up, in my opinion. And then he said, Brown County is the county for Green Bay. It's a very large city.
That's right. And that's where my problem is that these various counties within each state, they have a directory for the different law enforcement agencies within that state. So my problem is that why would this detective call the jail to say, I got this guy? To me, it's more like this detective called the Detective Bureau, and they basically just hung up on him or just said, hey, we got the right guy, whatever this guy's saying, he's full of shit or whatever, and hung up. And then them finding out that, Avery's getting released on this, through DNA, and it was, I don't know. I don't know if there was some word that this detective had called. I don't get this connection here. But nonetheless, I have an issue with this detective calling the jail. I'm not saying that it didn't happen for sure, but I have questions about it. That's me.
Yeah, it could also be another, Jack, that because Stephen was getting out in 2003, that they've made Coburn write this report. As you say, it could just be a bluff, write this report, say somebody for such and such phoned you and said this, and but there's just too many scenarios that you can come up with.
There is.
For why he phoned there or why he didn't phone Peterson or something like that. Maybe it's the fact that, as I said before, he knew Coburn a bit better. He knew Coburn would listen to him. He maybe thought that he couldn't phone Peterson or that to tell him, so he's phoned Andy because Andy works for him. Maybe knows him that wee bit better, so could maybe get the information sooner, And then Stephen gets out in 2003, and they think to themselves, oh shit, they know that it's coming back to Gregory Allen. They know that they've let Gregory Allen walk free for the past fucking 10 years to rape and abuse other women for the last 10 years, so they needed to cover their own asses.
Yeah, maybe, and I thought about the fact that, maybe the detective or someone that knew that this call had come into the detective bureau said, hey, we've got a call from a guy. We need to cover our bases here. And then Andy got chosen to say that he got the call and forwarded it on, and then he didn't know anything else about it. It's funny to me that this detective is never named. We don't know the name of this person that called, as far as I know.
Oh.
We've never heard that name at all, which I find a little bit strange, but nonetheless, that's where my radar really went off about Andy, right, wrong, or indifferent. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. I just know that it, from an integrity standpoint, it made me feel really strange about the whole situation, all of it. There are other incidents as well. He shows up all over the place. All over the place. He's there about the key. The Kratz ran from that key, and he wanted the jury to forget about it. After that story got told in court, I think he finally understood, or maybe he had people watching and said, man, that really come off really shitty. You got to get away from that key. So then he comes up and says, hey, jury, maybe these cops were just helping the case out. Why can't we just set that key aside? Can we do that?
Can we just pretend like it's never been mentioned?
After he had 3 freaking law enforcement officers up on the stand testifying about it, I'd be like on fire.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mark says Coburn was always motivated that he would be one day supported to be sheriff. I agree.
Absolutely.
And then he says he would blindly accept. Oops, I lost it. He would blindly. Oops. I don't know how I got all the way back at the top there. That's crazy.
He would blindly accept Patsy role with that carrot in mind. Yeah.
I agree.
I really do.
Yeah.
I do. Hey, Crockett.
Hey, Crockett. How you doing, man? Thanks for dropping by.
Andy B says Colburn's mind has been intentionally left blank.
Andy. You are a mess, man. Bethany says Coburn more amazing that he used that lie about them playboys, knowing he was cheating on his wife, which was way worse. Well, I don't know if he was cheating on his wife back then, but recently, I've made a bunch of clips for the Out of Making a Murderer. I did Wiegert and O'Neill, and now I'm focusing on Brendan. I'm just only partially done with Brendan, but in one scene of that, one I did the other night, it shows Dolores going to pick up Jody at the jail. She gets out like 5 days after Brendan is arrested. Okay. And then it shows the following day, Jody going back into the trailer. And it is a disaster. They have absolutely tore that trailer apart. Okay. So now we come back to mind that Andy and Link and alien guy, Kocharski, are in Avery's bedroom, and they've taken all this shit out of this little tiny record cabinet. Andy gets in a fight with it, gets his ass kicked, because apparently it's hiding a key somewhere. They put nothing's in it. They start putting things back. Yeah, they start putting things. No way that shit happens. I'm sorry. Cops don't put shit. They don't.
Never happens in a raid.
Never.
No, they don't.
They don't put. You can look at that. You can just. I posted a photo somewhere, but I've got it. They don't put anything back, guys. They just don't.
Law enforcement in general don't do that. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit that I've been caught up in 2 raids due to family members' shenanigans, and they tossed my bedroom for no reason. They pulled out every drawer. They lifted up my mattress. They tore my bedding off. They tore my computer and my desk apart. They didn't put anything back where they found it.
Nope.
When they did that. They just don't do it. They tear it apart and they leave it. Not their problem.
So why are we supposed to believe that Andy and Link are shoving books back into this little tiny record cabinet that just kicked Coburn's ass, and suddenly it shits this key out sideways and defies gravity?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't believe it. Yeah. Not one word of it. So maybe Kratz just. The light bulb finally clicked in his head and said, hey, man, I got to get away from this. Anyway, off into other things. But yeah, this is really interesting from Netflix this last filing. I really hope I hope some things get unsealed this week, guys, because if it does, it could be juicy.
Oh yeah. Magic key. Yeah, magic
yeah.
key.
That's right, Mark. It was.
There's all kinds of magic in Manitowoc. Magic keys, magic bullets, magic DNA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's insane.
Alrighty, guys, we've been here.
That was a great little surprise.
We've been cooking here almost 3 hours. So I think with that, we'll probably close it out for tonight. So I want to thank everyone for coming. Again, thoughts and prayers for our loss 21 years ago for 9/11 victims. It was a terrible day in America, around the world. It was a big body blow, I think, for all of us. But nonetheless, yeah, I know, Andy. Don't go.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey, thanks, Mark.
Oh,
really,
welcome,
really appreciate it. Thanks, William. Yeah, guys, we got into a little bit of a tiff yesterday, and I'll touch on this just briefly. And then I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. But we had a guilter join us on the reading with the crew yesterday afternoon. And this person was really inappropriate in many ways. And in normal circumstances, I think that, and we would address that just as a person being in chat that they're a guilter. Hey, good for you. It's not really, we're not here to try to change your mind. I think the goal of foul play, we're all around the world, but the goal is to present what we find. And, we are advocates for wrongful conviction. There's not a doubt about that. It's not simply as an attack on law enforcement or, a judge, even though we dislike some of the actions these people take. But this person, they completely believed that Item FL hit Teresa. It had her DNA on it, when in fact, Zellner's test proved that it had wood and red paint on it and some wax. Whether that came from the wax of Teresa's chapstick or if it came from the wax of Newhouse putting it in for ballistics testing. Whatever, it had wax on it. Nonetheless, this person still believed wholeheartedly that Teresa's DNA was found on that bullet. Nucleated cells, I think is what Colleen called it. And for us, we completely, because that bullet was found under dubious conditions, number one, they missed it during the first 6 or 7 searches, apparently, that they were all over that garage in early November, for days. They they basically horsewhipped this confession out of Brendan. They go back, and suddenly this bullet is found. Dust-free bullet. Everything in that garage is covered with dust, except that bullet. And it ultimately ends up, we found out much later, it has wood and red paint embedded in it. Sorry. That thing is gone to file 13. It's garbage. It's complete trash. Just like the key. It's trash. That's our opinion. You don't agree with it? Hey, that's fine. But be civil about it. Be civil about it. That's all I got to say about that. So, let's move down the list here. Anyone has, let me get over here.
Yep. Yeah, Mark says they don't want to believe the truth because it confronts their unsupported prejudice. Yes, well, I mean, I let it rip at him yesterday. He just caught me at a bad time, in a bad mood, on the wrong day. And he said yes to the the bullet going through Teresa, and then he brought up the cat. Now, FL is Doc's trigger, and that's why Doc went off on one. And the cat is one of my triggers. I've got a few triggers in this case, but the cat is one of mine. When they start, but he burned a cat. If you've read the so-called documents and evidence and done your research, then you would know that that was a lot of pants, that he took the blame for his friend who was on probation at the time.
That's
so
right.
Stephen took the blame for it.
That's
There was
right.
nothing to do with Stephen burning the cat, you know. But that is their only go-tos when they get proved wrong, you know. And I think that's what pisses people off. But they just caught us at a bad time. We normally are respectful and we try and answer them and everything like that. And you know that yourself, Jack.
That's
But
right.
I just could not. I could not stop myself last night because I was already wound up as it was. You know what I mean? It was
Sure.
something else. And then he comes out and he says silly things like that. We don't mind the guilters and that coming in, as long as they come in with sensible, common sense, decent questions. You know what I mean? If they're
Right.
coming in and they're saying, well, what about this, that, and the other? And we know the answer to that. We can point them in the right direction and say, look, don't take our word for it. Go and look for file such and such. And it's in the third paragraph down or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's how we do it. We just don't take the word to other people or just a documentary. And that's what a lot of them forget. They think that we've been duped by a documentary.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
We're a million miles away from the documentary at this point.
Exactly.
It was the catalyst that you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, and it's flooded from that. What, you know, just from what, you know, not only people here, but other people, you know, rookies seeking truth. There's so many people out there that have released so much information, so much more information, especially relevant information since the documentary. It's just unreal. So, but the name calling, you know, that they did, they got upset, and, you know, I get it, but, you know, we've never hid.
Ooh, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, we've never hid who we are as a group. And I think a lot of people that, you know, that follow us, you know, they may not necessarily agree with us, and that's fine. Theories are theories, you know, it's just like anything else. But, you know, as a group, you know, we've never shied away from where our belief is that there was a wrongful conviction, and we stated why. We try to say speculation is when it is speculation, and fact is what we grind our basis when you have a document in hand. Misinformation in itself is so difficult to combat. The cat incident that, you know, that Alice brought up, you know, that was documented. It's documented that this other person did it. It was stupid. What they did is, you know, young kids drunk and just being drunk, stupid teenagers or whatever. But
we've all done stuff like that, Jack, that is stupid and dumb and everything like that. I mean, when we were younger, I mean, we pinned a peg onto the cat's tail when it was on the table just to see its reaction, and it jumped up and it done a somersault and landed on its feet, and we thought it was funny. I mean, we were young. We were like 12, between 12 and 15 at the time. You know what I mean? You do silly things like that because you're still learning and everything like that. Doesn't mean to say I'm a murderer. You know what I mean? You learn by your mistakes and you think, oh my God, that was bloody stupid. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have done that. The poor cat. But you do stupid things when you're younger. And that was just one of the things that they done. And it was unfortunate that they got caught for it and they got reported for it. But the fact is that Stephen took the blame for his pal. No him.
He was on probation, He would have gotten a lot more trouble if Stephen had done that. And Mark said, and this is true. Mark said this is it, and this is true. None of us would be here if we truly thought Stephen and Brendan were guilty. I sure wouldn't. I'd be off to another case, or I'd probably be on to another case that, you know, that's really got me sideways. You know, like you know, Daniel's case. That's another case that is so bad with corruption. It's a different state, of course, but it doesn't matter. Corruption is corruption. It doesn't matter where you go. But that's exactly right. So with that said, you know, we welcome everyone, but they got to be respectful. And, you know, moving forward, I hope that's what happens, that they can come in and ask questions. If they don't agree, hey, that's fine. ask questions, have a debate, have a real debate. Don't leave that emotion back from it. Don't make it, don't quote misinformation, quote factual stuff, and we can talk about it. We're willing to do that. The hard questions, let's do it, Anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that. Okay. Alice, anything else going on that you want to talk about before we get out of
here? No, just thank you to everyone who sent their condolences and that for all of us here in the UK. And as I says, my condolences are with all of yous on the anniversary of 9/11 today. It was atrocious what happened in your country 21 years ago. And many, many thanks to everyone who's in chat. We love seeing yous, and thank you.
Thanks, Alice. Cherie, you got anything before we get out of here?
No, just thank you, everybody on the panel, for the interesting discussion, and thank you for people in the chat for adding to that interesting discussion, and come back.
Awesome. Thanks, Cherie. Thanks for being here. I know it's been a tough week for you, so really appreciate it. And thank you for getting this odd document. Man, that was juicy. Ooh.
Yeah, that was.
Rhonda?
You know what? I'm not going to waste any more time with my, I got a kick out of that last document, obviously, and I laughed inappropriately, so I apologize, but
no apology. No apology necessary. No apology
necessary.
necessary.
Yelling and swearing at people, right?
True.
Oh, God. And I'm just talking about myself doing that, so I tried to maintain myself as much as I've been disconnected from chat. Oh, now I'm successfully connected. See, now oh, God. But anyway, yeah, so that was kind of fun to put at the, to get that at the end. And, yeah, just, the same thing, my condolences, is again for Great Britain and for your loss, and then for the very significant, life-changing events that took place here in the United States 21 years ago. And, just, some memories that I have from that. And, and for the shout outs, for Daniel's case, it means so much to me, to myself, and, to Cherie, I know as well, for, giving us a shout out and helping us drum up some awareness for his case. So we appreciate that as well. And other than that, I think I've said enough.
Excellent. Well, as I'll reiterate that. Everybody, please head over to Rhonda's channel and her Discord. Give us a like and subscribe. Share videos. It's a really interesting case, and she does need support and our help to spread that awareness. There is so much corruption in that case. It's just unbelievable. It's crazy. And with that said, we're going to move off into, we're going to get out of here. This coming week, I'm pretty sure that Jeff Jones has an episode discussing a murderer. That'll be tomorrow night, I think at 7:30 Central. I think that's right. And then, Rhonda, are you doing one this upcoming week or no?
Yes, I will be doing one. I will be starting a new job on Tuesday, so I don't know how much it will be, but I will be doing something Thursday.
Sweet. Outstanding. All right. All righty then. We're going to get out of here. We really appreciate everyone that's joined us in chat. If you like what we do, hit that like and subscribe, turn the bell on, and we'll try to bring you more as soon as we can. Thanks, everybody. This has been a Foul Play production.